Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed Live, back here in LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I would like to congratulate Dallas on finally winning another Super Bowl. You know, they did.
They did.
Well, the Chiefs were the Dallas Texans originally, and Lamar Hunt finally said, I can't compete with the Cowboys, so I got to move the Texans to Kansas City. So congratulations, Dallas. You won a Super Bowl. Am I right?
Only a handful of people.
Not bad.
You and I.
No, there's a big handful in Dallas who know that one.
Not
Way
bad.
to go.
All right, guys, we are back in LA, and we have such an amazing show lined up today with all the reactions to the Chiefs winning last night's Super Bowl. Did Patrick Mahomes deserve MVP? I'm very curious how you handle this one. Was Travis Kelce right in claiming the start of a dynasty? And, of course, Dak Talk will make an appearance today. But first, let's start with last night's comeback. The Chiefs are champions for the first time in 50 years, thanks to an incredible fourth quarter comeback by Patrick Mahomes and company to beat the 49ers 31-20. Mahomes threw 2 TDs in the fourth, and KC became the first team to win after trailing by double digits 3 times in the same postseason. So, Shannon, what happened last night?
My homeboy happened when they absolutely had to make plays. He made plays. He's special. And Skip, we know what type of arm talent that the kid has, but it was his ability early on to get out of danger with his legs. And we've seen this. The previous 2 playoff games, Skip, he was the leading rusher, over 50 yards in both of those games. And what we're starting to see is that, and he was throwing caution to the wind because he took some direct shots. I don't know if he takes those shots, Skip, during the regular season, but he says, you know what? This is the Super Bowl. I got 5-6 months to heal up. I'm throwing caution to the wind, and I'm going for it. And I think it caught the 49ers off guard, Skip, because they kept losing contain. And not only was he getting outside and getting yards with his legs, we know what he's capable of doing throwing the ball. And I thought that's what really caught them off guard, is because his ability to throw off the wrong foot. And they was like, okay, we can't come up. Okay, he gets the first down scrambling. We come up, now he's hitting Sammy Watkins, now he's hitting Tyreek, now he's hitting Kelce. And we know he can throw the ball over your head. So I thought he was unbelievable in great adversity. And I remind you, this is only his second full year of starting. He's down in the divisional round by 24. He's down in the championship game by 10. He's down in a Super Bowl. Now, we grade kudos to I know another guy that's already like a 4 or 5-time Super Bowl champ was down by 10 points in the fourth quarter. And somebody he praised and adulation, and to this day, he'll show highlights of that. I'm not going to call the guy's name. I'm skipping my
4 or 5 times. Yeah, he's won 6 Super Bowls. But get it right. At least give him his credit.
No, I'm saying at the time.
Oh.
I'm saying at the time, yes, we know.
When is it my turn?
It's going to be your turn in a few minutes. But Skip, look. And I think the thing what happened with the 49ers is that they got comfortable because normally when they get a lead, they can shut you down. They have an outstanding defense. They can run you out of the building. But we know 20 points was not going to be enough. We've seen Patrick Mahomes in those starts. He's only scored less than 23 once. So if you thought 20 was going to be enough against him in that dynamic offense, you were sadly mistaken. But you got to have help. Because you're already up 20-10, so you got to do something foolish in order to let the Chiefs get back in the ball game. Skip, when they got that second interception, it was 20-10. The next 2 drives, they had 8 plays. 5 of them was passing plays. Skip, that's not what they do. I would have thought Kyle Shanahan would have learned his lesson. That's not who they are. Even if you stop me, Skip, at what I do best, I can live with that result. I'm a pitcher, I have a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. If you hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball out of the park, I can live with that. I'm not throwing your slider. I'm not throwing your changeup. And I believe the 49ers got away from what they do best, but Patrick Mahomes was at his absolute best in the fourth quarter.
So, first point of order from this side of the desk. You are today disqualified. You are disqualified from gloating about my homeboy because in Miami, the great Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Fame tight end, flipped his pick to the 49ers.
That is.
The great Shannon Sharpe picked Jimmy Garoppolo to be the MVP of yesterday's Super Bowl. Am I right, Jenny Taft?
I am happy you are bringing this up.
Thank you. Boom, boom, boom. So it's over. You can't even utter his name the rest of the show.
Oh, no, that's what he's doing.
It is over. You can't say, it's my homeboy. He does what he does. He does. No. You sold him out. You jumped his ship. You were all aboard 49ers because you played for the great Mike Shanahan, father of Kyle.
I let my heart get in the way of my head.
Okay, thank you. Now it's my turn.
Thank you.
So speaking of Kyle Shanahan, he has now been involved in 2 Super Bowls, one as obviously the coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, and last night as the head coach and coordinator and play caller for the San Francisco 49ers. And now Kyle Shanahan will be remembered for blowing 2 Super Bowls. Not one, but he blew 2 Super Bowls in most people's eyes. A lot of players and coaches, as you well know, Mr. Sharpe, that they never even get to participate in a single Super Bowl. So now Kyle will become known for the 2 Super Bowls he was in, having what appeared to be insurmountable leads in both games.
Yes.
Position A, game in the palm of your hand in both Super Bowls, and failing to do what needed to get done to close 2 deals. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite about this because I told you, and this is a week ago we talked about it, I did not condemn Kyle for the Atlanta Super Bowl collapse because what had happened the night before in that game, the night before you were there at the NFL Honors, and Matt Ryan, you had predicted it because you had inside information. Matt Ryan was named the MVP of the league that year.
He was.
So I did not have a huge problem with putting the game in the hands of the NFL MVP to try to close the deal after Tom Brady and Bill Belichick had roared back from 28-3 down. And again, in that game, it took Matt Ryan taking a dumb sack and then one of those incredibly unfortunate holding penalties. That's what it took to derail the final drive that looked like it was going to cash and close the deal on the New England Patriots. So I'm going to give him a slight pass for the first one, but I'm giving him no pass for last night. That game is on the head of Kyle Shanahan, and you alluded to it. But the 49ers were clearly, to me, the better football team, all-around better football team. And at the crucial moment as we entered the fourth quarter, that game was San Francisco's to lose. They were in control in every way, shape, and form because what did we start to see? I predicted yesterday, Friday, right here on Fox and Fox Sports 1, that your homeboy would throw 2 picks, and he had mid-third quarter, early fourth quarter, 2 picks because he was struggling against a really good defense and a really good scheme and a really good pass rush that was starting to get to him. And he was pressing, and he was trying to do a little bit too much, and he had thrown 2 picks that were pretty bad because he was having, by his already legendary standards, a pretty lousy night.
Right.
In fact, at that point, it looked like it was going to be an abysmal night because he had only 10 points, and we're going into the fourth quarter. And all of a sudden, the second interception leads to 1st and 10, San Francisco at its 20-yard line. And again, what do the 49ers do best?
They run the football.
They just rip and slash you running the football. It's creative. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's a lot of sleight of hand. It's a lot of motion and misdirection. It's sis, boom, ba. It's here, there, and everywhere. And that kid, Debo, whoo! Is he not maybe the new beast mode of receivers?
He was unbelievable.
Hey, he was unbelievable for 3 quarters because through 3 quarters, this team had 109 yards rushing through 3 quarters.
Right.
That'll work, right?
Yes.
So clearly, the blueprint by which Mike Shanahan led your 2 Bronco teams to Super Bowls was Terrell Davis down your throat, right?
Yeah.
So what happened at that moment? They give it to Mostert on 1st down, and the great Troy Aikman, live on Fox, had this to say if we could hear this.
Hey, we all know what's happening right now. Kyle Shanahan is going to run this ball right down their throat if they let him.
Garoppolo keeps, pass is caught on a sliding grab by Kittle.
Okay, so
Yep.
right on schedule, he's going to let Jimmy G throw it. And you made the point, the reason you picked Jimmy G to be the MVP is they're just going to play action. People are going to be running free all over the place because they're going to obviously try to stack the box to subdue or at least slow down that run game. And people are going to be open. I thought Jimmy G from the start last night was not very accurate. No. Even that was not a very accurate ball.
They showed it. And when he throws the ball, he's like, like it got stuck in his hand or something. I'm like, dude, all you got to do is just hit Kittle.
Just
give him
let
a
it
chance.
go.
Yes.
He's like pulling the string. He's trying to get too fine with it, right?
Yes.
Okay, but that one worked. But then it's more Jimmy G. He's going to throw it, and he's going to throw it. And I'm saying, what are you doing? Because clearly, if you get Debo back involved on those, sometimes it's jet sweep. Sometimes it's just like a toss reverse. Right. Whatever. Just let him run the ball some. Right. At least get him a couple of touches in the fourth quarter. He does not touch the ball the rest of the way. Mostert touched the ball, ran the ball 4 times in the fourth quarter, and clearly they just got away from what got them there.
Right.
It's the old Texas expression, you dance with who brung you.
Right.
Well, he started dancing with Jimmy G.
Right.
And I started thinking about
But Jimmy G looked good.
Okay, yeah, right.
The one that brought him there didn't look that good.
Okay, but what was the big theme of Super Bowl week? They're defending Jimmy G.
Right.
He got us here. He's a Super Bowl quarterback. I was wondering if Kyle might have watched our show on Fox, which was 11 Eastern yesterday. Right. He might have been in his hotel room watching Shannon Sharpe say, I got Jimmy G for MVP. And maybe, I think that would, seriously, I'm not kidding about this. I think that would have impact on Kyle Shanahan. Like, you know what?
No, Skip. Look. Because Mike could have easily said, you know what? I have John Elway. He suffered these 3 debilitating losses.
Yep.
Let me show that he's still
great. Could have.
Yeah, no.
No,
we're going to hand that ball to TD 30 times.
Okay, I'm going to remind everybody against Green Bay, while they're running for 285 and literally running Green Bay off the field, Jimmy Garoppolo was allowed to throw 8 total passes.
Yes.
And only 2 passes in the second half.
Thank you.
Last night, he threw 31 balls. You can't do that. What are you doing? You're trying to prove a point. You're trying to show your offensive genius. You're trying to show, I don't know exactly what you're trying to show because the driving force is either Mostert or Debo. Right. And if you don't get the ball in their hands to close the game out, you're going to have a problem.
But Skip, a lot of times people will say, well, I don't look at the 49ers, Skip, as just running the football to wind the clock down. That's also their best way to get a first down.
Okay.
Because we've seen this. We've seen them against Green Bay. We've seen them against Minnesota. 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12. Run the ball and get first downs. This is who you are. You're the second best rushing team in football.
Thank you.
Not the second best passing team in football.
Thank you. And what had we already seen in the first half from Jimmy G? That was an ugly duck of an interception.
I told
right?
you, I said, look, he's going to give you an opportunity to get 1 or 2. The question is, will you come down with him? Now, he's going to give you that opportunity.
That was hard not to come down with because that was like intended for the other team,
him,
right?
It was intended for Breland.
Right, for Breland. Okay, so now that's the guy you're going to put the game in his hands. You're probably going to lose. So here comes Mahomes and company, and all of a sudden they start to click, and they start to click, and they get it all the way down to the crucial 3rd and 15 play. And this is going to be the quote-unquote signature play of the night.
Yes.
And yet, I'm going to make the case that this play in history is going to be almost as overrated as the 27-yard touchdown pass by Patrick Mahomes that, quote-unquote, beat the Tennessee Titans, in which no Titan even tried to tackle him on the play. Right. So could we see the 3rd and 15 play? This is crucial. This is make or break play. So DeForest Buckner, 6'7", gets he stunts and gets opened around the loop, or looping around the edge.
Right.
Okay, so Mahomes can't really step into the throw. He's got to kind of sidearm it without much on the ball.
Right.
And you can ask my wife, Ernestine, because for the first time ever, I let her watch a Super Bowl with me because I told her I don't really have a dog in this fight.
Right.
I don't have the Cowboys. I don't have the Patriots. It's big, but it's not. I'm not going to be really rooting that hard either way.
Right. Okay.
So she watched the whole game with me, and you can ask her what I said. As soon as the ball left Mahomes' hands, I said 3rd interception because it looked like it was a flutter throw. It looked like it was up for grabs, and it had punt quality to it.
Because you see how he caught it? You see how he caught it like a punt.
Tyreek stops, turns completely back toward Mahomes and catches it like a punt. Did he wave? He might have waved, right?
He did.
And I'm saying, how did he get that wide open? So when I see the replay, I see the Chiefs are playing 3 deep. It's cover 3. It's just
49ers.
I'm sorry, the 49ers are playing 3. It's just like it's a third. You got 3 guys back with a third of the field.
Right.
Except Emmanuel Mosley, who's in his second year, undrafted out of Tennessee, has the outside third.
Right.
But he breaks on Sammy going on an underneath route.
Right.
And you can't break it. You got the zone.
Right.
And you leave it wide open, and Jimmy Ward can't get there fast enough playing center field.
Skip, what happened was, if you remember, they ran the same formation, but to the other side against the Patriots.
All right.
What they do is that they put Tyreek in the slot. Now, remember, he lined up on the right side of the slot against the Patriots, and he raced all the way across the field. Right. He faced him up and took off.
He did.
Now, see, they thought he was going to do the same thing. They thought he was going to go all the way across the field. The 3-deep safety, the whole safety, peels and knows that I got to get on my horses because he's going to beat me across the field.
But this is more that post corner sort of.
Right, but he doesn't know he's going to run the post corner.
Yeah.
All he's thinking is far cross.
All right.
So he's got to get on his horse because he knows Tyreek can run. So if you look at if you can see the all 22 Skip, he bails because he's like, there's no way I can let him go across the field.
Yep.
And when you see what he doing, Skip? He's already about to get on his horse.
So
it's too late.
So if Mahomes can step into it and let it loose, I think it's a touchdown. I think it's like a wide open, like a walk-in.
Yes.
Well, except he never walks in. It would be a sprint-in touchdown, right?
Well, he go probably, he likes to piece everybody out because he knows you're not going to catch him once he gets his hand on the ball. But that was an unbelievable throw because, like you said, he's under heavy duress. And 3rd and 5th, Skip,
It's impossible. This is the game. If you miss this, I don't think you're going to be able to come back.
You're not going for it. You're not going for it on 4th and 15 at that area of the field. Now, the stat they showed the win percentage of the 49ers on 3rd and 15. There's like 77%.
Yep. Wow.
All I got to do is Skip and give Mahomes credit. That was a great play call. That was an unbelievable play call. But, Skip, I thought what happened with Kyle Shanahan, I didn't see the same creativity in the first half that I saw in the second half. You see how it was, Debo? They came out the first play of the game, Debo.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
you did see creativity.
I did see it in the first half. Man, it was all over the place. I was like, wow, look at this. Debo with the ball. They throw the ball, they swing it out to Debo. They handed to Mostert. And then the second half, I'm like, well, where's that?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay.
And put him on the move, Skip. You remember in the first half, they put Jimmy G on the move. They play fake and they roll him out. Why are you dropping him straight back?
Maybe because Atlanta's hanging over your psyche. Maybe you're starting to just close up, and maybe you're starting to choke a little bit as a play caller can, where you're just getting a little blind with what you do. You're getting too arch conservative because you're thinking we're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to win it.
Here we go again. And Skip, I thought it was very telling in the first half. They stopped him on 3rd down, and he didn't call timeout.
Yep.
They punted the ball, and they got the ball back with a minute.
By the way, did you see his GM up in the box?
Call timeout.
Do we have that by chance? John Lynch up in the box? And Fox caught this, and it was very telling. Here it is.
It's good they caught it.
Yep. Time out. Not happy. That's his boss. Time out.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't know if he's Kyle's boss. I think Kyle's his boss. Kyle brought him along.
Well,
but they go.
That's his position. He's supposed to be in charge, right?
Right. And so that told me a lot. But Skip, I thought for the first time they let him play in the Super Bowl. I think there's only one controversial call, maybe the pass interference on Kittle. But other than that, Skip, there were not a whole lot of...
And Kyle almost got away with no timeouts because of that play.
Right.
And again, I also ran into, on Saturday, the great Mike Pereira, who's up in the booth last night, and we had this same discussion about the Rudolph play at the end of your Vikings at Saints game.
Right.
And again, was it pass interference or not?
Exact same play.
Again, you live this role, but to me, there's some let them play going on. But his point was the rule is the rule, and it's very explicit. If you extend, and also you have to watch the body language of the DB.
Right.
And if they whiplash, if they are pushed back, then it's just clearly it's pass interference, offensive pass interference.
Correct.
Now, my point on that play was I don't think Kittle needed to push off to catch the ball.
I said the exact same thing.
And that was the one great throw Garoppolo made, and that was a big-time throw.
It was a big-time throw. And remember, Skip, when it happened, I was like, Kyle Rudolph gained an advantage. First of all, he's already 6'6", 260, and he's trying to be defended by a 5'10", 5'11" guy. You can clearly see that P.J. Williams, he was separated from him, and he threw him off balance. That was the same play. Now, look, I agree you're going to let him play, but if that's pass interference, what they called on Kittle, that was also pass interference.
Okay, well, it is. You would have to say, wait a second, which is which? I was barely okay with this one, but it was a huge call because that's 3 points. It's going to be 6 seconds left,
100%.
and you're going to be close.
He went down to like the 12, the 15 yard line.
Might even have time for one shot at the end zone.
Not with him. Maybe a more experienced quarterback. But Skip, the thing is that, look, we talked about momentum in a playoff game. The question was, when San Francisco had the momentum, how much separation could they put between them and the Chiefs? They can only get 10 points because you know Kansas City is going to get the momentum. Remember the divisional game? The Texans could only get 24 points of separation. They come around, they get 51. The Titans can only get 17-7. They come around and go 21 straight.
Which brings me back to Kyle also on that opening drive of the second half. They got it down to 4th and 2. And remember, Andy Reid had gone for it on 4th and 1 with that little spin shift play. Remember, it was slick.
The old little whirly bird option they used to run back in the day. Jay, that before your time, but Skip, remember?
That was 1949 Rose Bowls, where that came from. That's what Eric Bieniemy said. We stole it from the Rose Bowl, except they didn't do the spin shift on it. But the point was, it worked. And it got didn't get the touchdown, but got a first down. And Andy, who's not known for going for it, went for it. Kyle gets to 4th and 2, and it's going to be sort of chip shot. Well, if you are up against Patrick Mahomes, maybe you should just go for the throat, right?
And a lot of times, Skip, that's what teams normally do when you play such a high-powered offense. Because we've seen them, Skip, go get 28 points in under 10 minutes. We've seen them. So to say, okay, they're down 21-10 at the start of the fourth, is that a whole lot? If they can go get 28 in 10 minutes, you best believe they can make up 10 points in 15 minutes. So, and I think Andy was thinking, this is not going to be enough. Kicking field goals is not going to beat this team. Let's keep them under the gun. And he did a great job of that because, like you said, this is not normally Andy's MO. Especially in a situation like this. But he's like, you know what? He got Mahomes. And if you remember, Skip, when they got it down there, the first play they ran was what? They threw it. Because he says, I got Mahomes. That's what we do. We throw the ball. Now, they ran it a lot better than that. Even you thought they could run it. I know I didn't think they could run the football like they run it. Now, even if you take that last 38-yarder, the John Riggins play, guy lost contained, they hit the head on the goalpost. But I thought they ran the ball fairly well, but Mahomes was the difference. Now, minus those 15 yards that he took in kneel downs, Skip, he was 6 for 44, which is unbelievable. You said he can't run. Talk about he run 4.8, I can't tell.
He runs 4.8.
No, he turned the turbos on him last night, though, Jaden.
He is the one quarterback this year who actually gained weight through the season. He's a big kid now. He's stout.
Of course.
He's got good pocket feet. Right. He's got good sort of escapability. He can't, he chugs when he gets going. But
he ain't put no moves on him, except over Rashad Evans. He still got that old head fake. But you saw him, Skip. He'd have had a first down last night, but he took that direct shot. Can't take too many of those because he took some big hits last night, Skip. But it's the Super Bowl. You throw all caution out the window. You're like, okay, I don't care because I got 5. I'm not going to even pick up a football until, April, May. So I'm good. That kid, 21 straight, and we've seen this, Skip. We've seen him go touchdown, 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 touchdown. We've seen him go touchdown, 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 field goal.
And by the way, I got to give him his props. He made one good throw last night to Sammy Watkins on Richard Sherman. And Sammy Watkins took an inside release, and Richard let him go.
No, Skip. You know why? Because normally, guy releases inside, he's not running a go. They know Sammy Watkins like to run that dagger route, like 12, 14, and break it across. You see, Sherman was trying to. He was going to try and jump it. He got inside. So, okay, I'm going to pick you if you run this route.
Once Sammy Watkins gets a step on Richard Sherman at this age, he is not going to catch him.
Because you see, even when Sammy goes inside, Richard is in the trail, he jumps even further inside because he's anticipating him running that dagger route.
So Kyle Shanahan had one last hurrah, and he got Emmanuel Sanders one step on 2 DBs, and Jimmy G threw it 5 yards too far.
Skip, he got him.
Too far. This is it. This is all you got. This is your last hurrah. This is going to save your reputation and your game.
It's a touchdown.
And it's a touchdown, but you got to drop it right down the chimney. You got to pull an Eli, and he just threw it 5 yards too far. And that my friends, was that.
And there it was.
Yeah.
All would have been
What a
forgiven.
game,
As bad as he played, all would have been forgiven had he made that.
That.
Of course.
That would have wiped it all out.
But
I
this
would
game
agree.
had everything. And the week for us in Miami with the live audience, I mean, it really was such a great experience
Thank you to everyone
overall.
who came out.
Yes, it was
How
unbelievable.
We
great
had a
was
great
that?
time.
The support and the broadcast last night. Well done,
And
everyone
the
at
halftime
Fox. We could get there. That was impressive
Hello,
as well.
hello,
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes had thrown 2 picks and no TDs heading into the fourth, but with the Chiefs trailing by 10 and just over 8 minutes left, Mahomes engineered 3 scoring drives, and KC scored 21 consecutive points. Mahomes, at 24 years, 138 days old, became the youngest player to win both an MVP and a Super Bowl title, and he was the youngest QB to be named Super Bowl MVP. So, Shannon, did Mahomes deserve the MVP?
Duh. Did he deserve it? I told you that they were coming. I foretold this. I told you.
You picked Jimmy Garoppolo to be the MVP.
But didn't I
What
tell
are
you?
talking
Hold on.
about?
Didn't I tell you this is going to be the coronation of his Hall of Fame? You said they already inducted him into the Hall of Fame.
You picked the 49ers.
But I told you about this guy. You should have just listened to me.
Can't let this one down, Shannon.
Yeah, I know he don't.
No,
He don't want me to
sorry.
have my homeboy.
I'm sorry.
You got Dak. I got my homeboy. So we gonna be going head to head. I don't know.
You didn't have him yesterday, though.
You know, anything, you know, it happens. It
You gotta
happens
sweep
sometimes.
that under your rug. Just let it be.
Yeah, nobody else wins this game. I mean, you have to realize after last night, that was his 36th start. And he did that 3 times in consecutive games in the postseason, not regular season. In the postseason, he's come from double-digit points down. And he's done it on the biggest of stages. Who else? I mean, what else? Oh, you want to give it to Damian Williams? He didn't run them back into the game, Skip Bayless. He might have had the touchdown run that sealed it, a la John Riggins, Skip. You remember John Riggins when he broke that one against Miami and really broke their back. But Damian Williams wasn't the reason they got back on this game. Did he run on that 3rd and 15, Jenny? Did he run for that first down? Did he? Oh, okay. The plays that he was able to make, 3 straight drives in the fourth quarter to come from a 10-point deficit to all of a sudden to put them in front, Skip. It had to be him, had to be no one else but him. And I know you're talking about too, because I know a guy, you was over here beating the table last year. He should have been the MVP. Well, really? With 209 yards and an interception and no touchdowns, that guy should have been the MVP. I'm not going to even call his name.
Tom Brady.
Stop it.
Tom Brady in a 3-3 game completed 5 straight passes in the game-winning drive. That's all you need to know. That's MVP. Game over.
All I need to know. And down 20-10 to start the fourth quarter. 3 straight touchdowns. 31-20. That's all you need to know. Game, set, match. Patrick Mahomes, MVP, the youngest. And he was going to keep going, Skip. Guess what? He's going to be the youngest to win 2 MVPs. He's going to be the youngest to win 2 Super Bowls. And he's going to keep getting younger and younger. You know what? Everybody keep talking to him to Jordan. He started to remind me of old GOAT James. He started to remind me of old GOAT. He's the youngest to 5,000, 10,000, 20, 30, 40. The youngest, youngest, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. I see big things.
If he's reminding you of GOAT James, that means he's going to be the reverse Tom Brady.
No.
Because that means he's going to play in 9 Super Bowls and only win 3. Because GOAT James is 3-6 in the finals. 3-6. See, Brady's 6-3.
First of all,
LeBron, the reverse Brady, 3-6. Thank you. Thank
all
you.
I'm saying
That's a
is-
great prediction.
Yeah,
I'll co-sign on that.
All I'm saying is they're not even in this game without Patrick Mahomes. Because remember, going into the game, Damian Williams had 29 carries for 92 yards. They're not even here. If you think they're going to win this game.
This is about last night.
Okay, if you think they're going to win this game down 20-10 without Patrick Mahomes being great, Skip, you're fooling yourself. Now stop this.
Remember, Damian Williams was on the field for the 3rd and 15 play because it was a punt. He was on the punt team.
Damian Williams does not play punt. He's not on no punt
He's on the
team.
punt team because they punted it to Tyreek and he caught it for a first down, right?
Hold on. Now, see.
He waved, fair catch.
Okay,
hold
on. Right? You said Eli, when Eli threw his pass, you said he closed his eyes and
Well, he did.
So did Patrick Mahomes close his eyes?
No, he didn't close his eyes. He just didn't get a lot of mustard on that throw.
Well, I mean, Buckner's 6'7", beaming, dropping down on him.
So, to me, Damian Williams got robbed of the MVP last night. And the problem was that he starred in the shadow of Patrick Mahomes Jordan because he's already been coronated. He is the next Michael Jeffrey Jordan of the NFL. So Patrick Mahomes, Jordan was going to get the MVP just as long as they won the game. It was over.
No,
it's going to be a
wasn't.
foregone conclusion.
No.
Because I think even you would admit that by Patrick Mahomes' standards, legendary standards, that was a lousy night. All things considered, that was a lousy night because his grand total QBR for the night was 62. That is the lowest QBR by any Super Bowl MVP winner. The lowest.
Since they've been tracking.
Okay, well, since they've been tracking.
No, it's not. No, it's not. First of all, your quarterback had a lower QBR last year.
Okay, but he was not. Edelman got the MVP.
Exactly, and he should have.
Okay.
That's my point, Jimmy. That's my point.
Oh, okay, we get your point. So Mahomes, I think everybody would agree, was pretty below average. I'll be nice about it. Below average, while Damian Williams made it happen from start to finish. And by the way, I saw an ESPN interview last night in which Damian Williams just flat out said, our game plan was to sort of surprise them. We were going to run the football if we could see what he had to say after the game.
We've known all playoffs. A team that can run the ball is a team that's going to come out on top. We had to, come in here and establish ourselves on the ground. We came in and run it. You can see what we started off with. First play was a run. You hear what I'm saying? Like I said, it was to run the ball and establish ourselves on that ground and let them know what type of game it's going to be.
Interesting. So, what did I see last night from Damian Williams, who, by the way, played at the University of Oklahoma, where he was really good until he got kicked off the team his second year, which is why he did not get drafted. He was an undrafted free agent by the Miami Dolphins. And why did Andy Reid take him in? Because Andy Reid over the years has taken him all kind of problem kids, right? They're all like problem players.
And they have a home for troubled football
football players, because he is Father Flanagan, Big Red, as they call him.
Yep.
And everybody loves him, and he's going to get the most out of the worst, right?
Yes.
I'll show. It's like reclamation or reformation projects, right? And in this case, Damian Williams has become a quiet but very crucial factor to this team because he can catch it as well as he can run it.
Yes.
So what did I see last night? 7 times he ran for first downs. That's a lot of first down runs. When you go 7 times for first downs, that included 2 runs on 4th down for first downs. Pretty good. And then he took 2 swing passes that I thought were going nowhere. I thought both of them could be losses. And he juked 2 or 3 defenders and took off, and he made first downs on both of those 2 swing passes. So there's 2 more first downs. And then we get all the way down to the big play of the night. The key play was not really the 3rd and 15. It was the 3rd and goal from the 5 when he took another pass, and he makes the play of the night at the pylon.
Right.
He did step out of bounds, but I think he'd broken the plane. It was real close.
But you see what they said. Notice how they phrased it. Call stands. They didn't say it was confirmed.
Yeah.
So I believe if they had called it on the field, no touchdown,
Maybe.
they would have said the same thing once they come to replay.
What did your eye test tell you?
Skip, I thought he was. Once I saw it, Fox was doing a great job in showing all the angles. We probably had like 3,000 cameras there. I thought he stepped out first.
Okay.
But I'm not about to. You called it on the field a touchdown.
Here it is.
Crazy.
I think he broke the plane.
But if you notice, Skip, on all those swing passes, you see he does a great job of giving the guy an opportunity to run with it. He didn't have to turn around and face anybody up. You just catch the ball, turn and go.
Okay. So Damian Williams touched it all of 21 times last night. 11 of those 21 went for a first down or a touchdown. Any other night with any other quarterback, if it was Patrick Smith was his quarterback, he's going to be the runaway MVP.
Well, it reminds me of a guy in his first Super Bowl, Jenny. The guy had 145 yards passing with 1 touchdown. Ty Law had a pick 6, had 2 pass defense, had 6 tackles. And that guy, a guy with 145 yards was the Super Bowl MVP. Now, that's none of my business. I don't know why I brought that up, but I'm just saying. You
see, he completed 6 straight passes on what became the game-winning field goal drive. That's how you become the MVP.
Hold up. You down, so what was that? What Patrick Mahomes do? Did he not have a game-winning drive? You're down 21. You're down 10, Skip.
He did, but it's funny. In all these 3 comebacks, they happened so quickly that they did not require a clutch last-minute drive. It wasn't one like that.
Skip, it had to be clutch. If you don't get this thing going, it's about to get out of hand. It's about to go away.
Well, I'm not going to call 3rd and 15 to Tyreek clutch because that's pretty lucky.
Clutch.
I got to tell you, it's not clutch.
Clutch.
Nope.
How many guys you think have the arm strength to take a shot right in the chops and still sling it 40 yards.
How many guys have the green enough light to be able to think in their minds they can get away with even trying that throw to Tyreek?
Brady, Breeze, all the top quarterbacks. Yeah. You take the top 10 quarterbacks, all of them have a green light. Skip. At some point in time, you got to realize this guy's unique.
Okay, so the Super Bowl MVP threw two ugly interceptions and fumbled twice and should have lost one that Bosa got him on.
Bosa picked.
And he was just lucky, and then the other one was down near the goal line, and the ball just happened to squirt out of bounds, and it went backwards, obviously, but it could have squirted to an opposing player, right?
Well, Skip, I want you to know I had the over. Because the prop bet was 45 yards, longest completion. I had prop bet, I had said over. And guess what happened? Tyreek got 44 yards. There broke my little pennies down the drain.
So you lost.
I lost.
Well, I told you I had the under on that, and I would have barely won.
There you go.
And the only way I would have won is because Patrick Mahomes woefully underthrew Tyreek.
You know what? Skip. You just said Buckner was all over the guy.
He was.
There's not a whole lot of guys.
Well, if he's Michael Jordan, he gets some mustard on that throw.
He did.
Yeah.
He got it there. See? Now, the difference is one guy had a guy wide open, and he overshot him, Jimmy G.
I know.
The other guy had the guy wide open. In a situation when you get a guy wide open, just let him catch it.
So, by the way, my favorite play of the night from Patrick Mahomes Jordan was the second interception. And nobody made a big deal of this, but I think he's trying a no-look on this one. I do. I think he's carried away into no-lookville. So he's rolling. It's the one behind him. He kind of looks right, and he throws left. And see, he's looking at somebody else. So you see his vision is right.
It's blocked. His vision is blocked.
His vision is not blocked. So he throws a no-look, and it's so behind Tyreek that he muffs it into an Amari Cooper Memorial Green Bay interception where it goes to, what's the kid's name? Tavares Moore.
Yeah.
And the point is, that's just such a bad throw. And I thought at that moment, that is the end of that deal. Because that's just undisciplined football.
But the thing that the Chiefs have, and they're going to have this for the very foreseeable future, and Clark Hunt has made it abundantly clear, if not this year, Patrick Mahomes is going to get a deal, and he will be the highest paid player, quarterback ever in NFL history, is that, Skip, he has a skill, is that it reminds me of playing with John, is that we didn't care how many we was down. We knew and the defense knew, if we just hold him here, this kid can bring us back. Skip, 20, it's like boom, boom, boom. Just knowing that, oh, man, we got a lead. Damn, they still got my homeboy over there.
Yeah.
And he's capable of these heroics. Skip, you do realize now, this is only his third year starting.
Well, Tom Brady in his first 2 years of starting won 2 Super Bowls with 2 MVPs.
No.
So don't give me that.
No, didn't. Yeah. Tom Brady came in the league in 2000. Tom Brady sat the bench the entire year. Tom Brady started his second year on the bench.
I said his first 2 years of starting.
Yes.
Mahomes sat the bench
Whoa. Mahomes' second year starting, he was 5,050. 5,000 yards, 50 touchdown, MVP.
Okay.
In his third year.
See, he lost to Tom Brady twice.
Okay, and then what did he do? He came back. So you remember you beat me up, I'm a little bigger now. So now I come to beat you up in your backyard.
And today, I brought my own referees.
There you go.
Way to go.
There you go, Skip. Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Just go ahead and say Mahomes. Skip, can we agree now? Mahomes boy the real deal. We can agree on that now.
You're disqualified today. I already told you.
You are.
It's over.
I have the Chiefs.
After today, Skip, can we just agree on that? If we just agree on that, I won't hype him no more today.
Nope.
I didn't doubt it, but I agree. He was just better in the big moments.
Yes.
No mercy. So we need to talk about that other quarterback and his performance. After the Chiefs' improbable comeback, Jimmy Garoppolo still had a chance at a game-winning drive with his team down 4 and 2 minutes, 44 seconds remaining. He brought the 49ers from their own 15 into Chiefs territory, then threw 3 incompletions and was sacked on 4th down. And after the game, Garoppolo said, quote, "We've got a very bright future. We've got to take this in stride." Shannon, can the Niners win a championship with Jimmy G?
I believe they can. And I think the thing is what's working against him, Jenny and Skip, is that people look at it and says, Coach Belichick wanted to replace Tom Brady with this guy. You have to understand now, this guy's only in his 29th start. So basically he's a year and a half of starting football games. And, guys like Patrick Mahomes ruin it. Because here he is in his second full year of starting, Skip, and he's already been MVP. He's already won the Super Bowl. And so it gets skewed, kind of like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is skewed it for a lot of people because within his first 4 years, Skip, he had 3 Super Bowls with 2 MVPs. And so everybody, well, this is easy. No, it's not. That's in 100-year history, what Tom Brady has done is not easy. It's very unique. It's an anomaly. You're probably not going to see a guy go to that many Super Bowls, win that many Super Bowls again. Now, Patrick Mahomes has a great start, but if you want me to bet my money, I'm going to bet he's not getting a 9. That's what I would be willing to do. But I do believe, Skip, because this is a young team. Now, they have some key signings that they're going to have to do. They got some of these D linemen that's coming up. But I believe, Skip, I think I like his presence, his pocket presence. But he's just going to have to get a little more fearless, Skip. He's going to have to, the moment I thought yesterday, and you saw this, you mentioned it earlier, I thought he started to tense up a little bit. He started to aim the football instead of just throwing, just let it rip. You've been here, and he knows what's at stake. He hears all the chatter. He knows Coach Belichick had anointed him to replace Tom Brady, and that's what he's going to get measured against. If Jimmy G had just gotten drafted by the 49ers and there was no Tom Brady-Jimmy G comparison or parallel, Skip, we like, yeah, absolutely. A guy in his really second year of starting and he's already in the Super Bowl, yes, he can win one. But the parallel, the Tom Brady intersect is what gives people a reason to pause. I do believe. But Cal understands now is that if you run the football like they run it, you don't have to prove anything. There'll be a time and a place. I mean, he proved. He went on the road against New Orleans and was down 20-7 and played unbelievable. He had to pick up 2 3rd and 16s against the Rams. He played unbelievable. But in a situation like this, sometimes, you got to check egos too. Coaches have egos. Coordinators have egos, Skip. Of course they do. I'm going to show you. Coach Belichick does it all the time. He'll take another guy. He'll take somebody else's guy that wasn't great over there. Let me show you what I can do with them guys. You don't know what you're doing. Leave that alone. But I do believe, Skip, I believe he has what it takes in order for them to win a title.
And I absolutely do not, and I've been staunch in this position from the start. I don't believe in him. I think deep down you don't really, really trust him when chips are down, playoff chips are down. So I start my argument by, I looked this back up. I saw an item in one of the Bay Area newspapers back in August, and it made the point that the 49ers can cut Garoppolo and his huge contract just 2 years in and leave only $4.2 million in dead money on their cap. So they have an escape hatch here that they can take if they so choose, because when they gave him his money, he was still wildly unproven. We'd seen little blips at New England that looked pretty good. And then he'd been hurt for the year, as you know. So my point is, this is what I would do. They almost certainly won't do this, but this is what I would do.
You get Brady.
I would cut him, and I would sign Tom Brady for 2 more years, because Tom Brady would live and love to go home. He would live for it because he started as a 49er fan in San Mateo, California. And he posted a great picture when Candlestick Park closed. He was at the Dwight Clark, Montana to Clark catch game. There it is right there. That's 4 years old. That's Tom at 4. And that was early 1982. And I was there up in the press box, and he was there down. It looked like they had pretty good seats. And there he was, and he got to witness one of the great. Some people think it's the greatest play ever.
We don't know how much
I thought it was lucky, but I don't know how much. But he was a huge Joe Montana fan, so he could actually pull, in this scenario, a reverse Montana, and Montana had to go finish in Kansas City, and Tom could go finish at home. Where his parents live in San Mateo, it's just like right up the 101. You could get home in about 10 minutes from that stadium. So the point is, if I am John Lynch and I am Kyle Shanahan and I'm Mike Shanahan, I'm thinking we are so close that if I could have Tom Brady at still a pretty high level for Tom Brady, that if I'd had him last night, I believe they would have won the game with Tom Brady. He's just been there and done all that. He's going to make the right play at the right time. He's going to check you out of plays into run plays, which Tom has no problem with. He has no throwing ego at all. He will check to run plays when it screams for it. So the point is, I would do that for 2 years, and I would give you a better shot at them winning the next 2 Super Bowls with Tom Brady than Jimmy Garoppolo. There's some haywire gene in Jimmy G. I call him Jimmy Interception. He's going to throw you a couple a game, maybe 3 a game, but as you say, you got to catch them. You got to be ready because they're going to come unpredictably quickly.
Right.
And he's got arm talent, so he'll throw some lasers.
Yes.
But they're going to be haywire lasers because you're going to get your hands on them before his receivers do.
Right.
So I don't trust him. He's capable of having a big, good game like he did at New Orleans. He's also capable of last night. That was horrendous to me because I saw him throw one good ball, was to Kittle, and it was offensive pass interference.
Right.
And that's all I saw the whole game that was accurate. All the ones that he completed were high and low. Even the one to use check down on the goal line, he had to pick it up off the grass.
There are not very many running backs, let alone fullbacks, that could have made that catch.
Scoop that one up,
Yeah.
and then turn and run with it and almost score with it. So to me, remember, Tom Brady went to Sarah High School right there in San Mateo. That's where Barry Bonds went. That's where Lynn Swann went. That's where his heart is and his roots are. And you don't think he'd be inspired with this football team and the weapons they have?
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's right on time. Thank you, gods. You know, here you go.
Crazy thought, Skip.
Is that what you think or that's what you hope happens?
No, I mean, it just makes sense to me. I have no idea, but would Tom be receptive? You better believe he'd be receptive.
You're gonna take, I mean, you're talking.
I'm just not sure Jed York and John Lynch and Kyle Shannon. It would be a huge plunge to take, and you would have to trust that Brady has that much. He's got 2 high-quality years left, and I believe that with all my heart and soul.
And then, after those 2 years, where do you go?
Okay, you have those 2 kids behind that, Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard, and I've seen both of them play pretty well.
Right.
In fact, I think they like the heck out of both of them because they kept both of them on their roster. Okay. So I'm not saying they're the answer, but listen, it's hard to go win 1 Super Bowl.
It is.
Ask anybody who hasn't ever played in one.
It is.
And if you
ask Kansas City, after it took them 50 years to get back.
50 years, that's touche, bingo, there you go. So if you have a really good football team on the verge, and I don't see them, their offensive line's a little aging maybe, but still, I think they're on the verge. I think they got talent everywhere. And with a weapon like Debo emerging and Mostert emerging and Emmanuel. And Emmanuel Sanders.
They're going to have to re-sign. They're going to see after whether or not they're going to re-sign Emmanuel. But they got a nice running game. Coleman is under contract. I don't know Mostert's status. But the offensive line is solid. Defensive line is the defense. They're a young, talented football team.
They are.
They have all the makings. And that's the question. Is I believe they can win with him. But I'm sure Kyle Shanahan, they're sitting down this morning.
Because if you go forward with Jimmy G, because you say, look at the upside, look at the arm talent, look at the physique, look at his athletic ability.
Right.
How many sleepless nights do you want to have to endure? Because it's going to be a bunch of them. And if you make it to next year's playoffs, you're going to go into your first playoff game thinking, which Jimmy G am I going to get today? The good one or the really bad one? Can we get away today with him throwing only 8 passes?
Skip, there's only a handful of quarterbacks that once you make the playoffs, that the head coach sleep easy at night.
Yep.
Because that's a whole different ball game. Those emotions come, and you never know. I mean, obviously your Tom Brady's and your Breezes and your Mahomes, but there are only a handful of them that can handle that. And Jimmy G, until he does it on a consistent basis, but like I said, Skip, and we talked about it all year. I said if they don't win it, it's going to be because of him. He's the weak link.
He's the weak link.
Here we are.
He's a turnover machine. And I'm like, bro.
There you go.
You should not be a team that can run the football like that.
Yep.
Kind of like Lamar Jackson. Look at Lamar Jackson's interceptions compared to his. One was number 1, the other's number 2. You shouldn't have double the amount of interceptions when you're the second best running team in football because you're going to have guys running scot-free.
I just wouldn't do it. You're too close, you're too good, and it's too much of a fairy tale story. And you want to re-inspire Tom Brady after what he's been through with Bill Belichick, put him in that scenario, and you're going to get
How much is it going to cost him? How much would you be willing to pay Tom Brady for 2 years?
This might be a literal hometown discount, like literally going home for a discount, right?
But hey, look at the man doing the Hulu commercial. Clearly the man like money. So clearly the man like money, right, Jenny?
He probably got more in that commercial than
Okay, so we read yesterday via ESPN The Raiders, they were going to pull out the stops for Tom Brady. Okay, you got the Raiders or the 49ers.
That man don't want to go to Vegas.
Okay.
He can go. He was just in Vegas a couple of weeks ago at the fight. So he's like, I can go to Vegas anytime.
Okay.
He want to win a championship.
Trust me, because I worked in the Bay Area. You're either Raiders or 49ers, right?
Right.
Huh. One's across the bridge and one's on your side of the bridge.
Tom Brady strikes me more as a 49er.
A 49er kind of guy. and again,
good.
John Gruden has been notoriously tough on his quarterbacks, and he's only one with really grizzled veterans who can take his, what?
Yeah, I don't think Tom Brady's going to be the one that's going to be.
I don't think so.
SOB, the mofo.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly right. He's not going to put up with that.
I mean, Coach Belichick says, Tommy, what the hell are you doing? Is one thing.
Right.
But then you talking in a demeaning tone is something entirely different.
Because Rich Gannon would talk that stuff right back to him.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. But that doesn't strike me as Tom's personality, though.
It is not Tom's personality. He is a 49er at heart.
When you tweeted it, I was not so sure, but you are very convincing, Skip. It makes a lot of sense. It almost feels too storybook.
Would it not be a great story?
It's just.
But you do realize my homeboy ain't going nowhere, right?
Okay.
You know my homeboy ain't retired, right?
No mercy. Despite the Cowboys publicly saying that they want to sign Dak Prescott to a long-term contract extension, new reports say both sides are at an impasse, and the franchise tag looks, quote, inevitable. And there's now a separate report saying that Dak likely won't show up this offseason without a deal. So, Shannon, are you surprised by this?
No. Who been ahead of the curve? Skip Bayless like to use the term ahead of the curve. Skip Bayless, who ahead of the curve? Now, my sources, and I take them to the bank.
Really?
They're very reliable. Yes, sir. If they tell me grass will turn to cheese, I'm going to quit everything I'm doing and start hustling crackers.
What kind of sources?
Yeah! My sources told me they were unwilling to give a hometown discount. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just saying, Skip. Like I said, my bank, Skip Bayless said he got a bank. He said he going to take that to his bank. So when they said this, I said, I'm going to take that to my bank. That Dak Prescott was unwilling to give Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and the Dallas Cowboys a hometown discount. Now, they sold this early. They got up at the combine and said, yeah, we want to work with Dak. We want to get something done, but we need Dak to work with us. You know, it's like you go to a store, hey, work with me now. I want to get this. Skip, you go buy a car, Skip. Now, work with me now. Work with you. But, wait a minute. You want the car or not? Some stores, some car dealers will work with you. You go there try to get a Ferrari, Lambo, they ain't working nothing. They say, what we're going to work with you, we're going to deliver it to you. That's all we got for you. But if you think you're getting a discount, you're not. Skip, you see, and I said this, I said, Skip, if Kellen Moore comes back as offensive coordinator and they don't change anything, the only reason this is taking place is because Dak Prescott is not showing up without a new contract. You don't want to install a new system. Have that guy show up at training camp and says, okay, let's go win a title. You keep this offense intact. Dak has heard this verbiage. He knows it. He can pick right up. Jerry and Steven, I believe, were anticipating that. Say, Mike, we need you to keep Kellen on staff. Let him call the plays. Let him use his terminology because this thing is getting a little contentious. So, for me, I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm starting to feel a little Kirk Cousiny.
Uh-oh.
It started to feel to me, Skip. It feel like that to you, too? Because they're saying they're betting against him. We like you, Dak, but we don't really truly believe in you. And I told you, franchise tags makes enemies. Because Steven and Jerry keep saying, we got our guy, he's a franchise guy. Dak Prescott said, Shannon Sharpe said on Undisputed, he see better than he hear. Yeah. He said he hear what y'all saying, but he looking at ain't got no contract. So how you keep saying I'm a franchise guy and I'm not? But he also sees Skip Bayless. He said, Jerry, you remember in 2013? You made Tony Romo the highest player. Now, after Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl and got $52 million guaranteed, you gave Tony Romo $55 guaranteed. 6 years, $108 million. Without batting an eye.
True. Good point.
And Jerry says, you know why? Because I believed in him. He didn't say that. But see, when you put that money down, Skip, they say, I believe in you. They don't believe in Dak, Skip. They don't. Ooh, and Todd France and Dak. Ooh. I'm getting everything I want. I'm getting everything I want. This thing lined up perfect for me, Skip Bayless.
Well, time out. Speaking of not believing in Dak, you are the ultimate not believe in Dak. You give him an F for every game. So why would you want him to get his money? You really don't.
I do.
You don't believe he deserves it. You do not believe he's earned it or will continue to live up to it.
I believe Dak Prescott is as good as Jared Goff, and he got him money. So if you're trying to tell me it's Jared Goff or Dak,
that's like saying Dak Prescott's as good as Jimmy G.
As good as Goff.
Stop it. Now, you know the going rate for quarterbacks. You tell me it's the most valuable position. You tell me Dak is the leader. You told me he's the unquestioned leader. What's that worth? That's worth something, isn't it?
So, my turn. This story is making my head hurt. This is getting worse by the day. I don't like where this is heading because it's heading down the wrong path.
You know.
It's heading toward a path to destruction, to ruin.
Yep.
And what's making me sickest today is Shannon Sharpe's having a great day because he made a slick, can't-lose Super Bowl pick. He flipped to the 49ers so that he could say, if the 49ers won, I told you so. But if Mahomes won, he could say, I told you so, he's my homeboy.
That's my homeboy.
At least we see what he's doing.
It's a little reverse psychology, a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm never flipped Skip. He's either way Shay. Either way Shay. And either way's got it going because
found a way.
Now he's even got either way Shay going on Dak because he can say, he's no good. I give him an F. What are you guys thinking with him? And in the next breath, he can say, you better give him his money.
Pay that man.
Because you want him to break the salary cap.
Oh, no, Skip. Skip, you tell me all the time, Jerry is a businessman. When I told you, I was like, Skip, how's he going to sign Zeke and Amari and Jay and all these guys? You like, Jerry can figure it out. Okay, we'll figure it out.
Well, it's interesting what you just said. Without blinking an eye, he gave Tony Romo, boom, big deal.
6 years, 108, 55 guaranteed.
There you go. I believe he's offering a similar contract to Dak Prescott, but the problem here is your source. That's what I believe. The source you keep quoting
That ain't going
is the
nobody.
problem. That's just me. That's just what I think.
What do you think?
I don't know Todd France. I'm sure he's a great agent.
Why you mention that man in a
I
negative
don't know.
light? You mentioned him in a negative
No,
light.
I didn't. I don't know him from Todd England or Todd Denmark or Todd Ethiopia. I don't know him. But I'm sure he's great. He has a great reputation.
Yes.
He represents a lot of big-time Aaron
does.
Donalds and DeAndre Hopkins, okay? But it's starting to feel like that they are asking for something that Jerry Jones just flat out thinks is unrealistic and unhealthy long-term for his football team.
Okay.
As much as I believe with all my heart and soul, Jerry Jones loves Dak Prescott, I believe he believes in Dak. But there comes a time when the guy in charge has to say, well, that's just crazy.
Okay, well, let him go.
Well, at some point, you have to figure out how to massage through it, and your only fail-safe is the franchise tag.
But you know that makes the enemy. You know what the franchise tag does.
It really didn't work out with Kirk Cousins because you're never on the same page and you don't feel good about them and they don't feel good about you and the negativity starts to build.
And guess what?
What happened with Le'Veon? What happened? Negativity starts to build.
And all of a sudden, guys get a little nick, Jenny. I'm a little hurt today, so I ain't going to be able to go out there and play for you.
Yep.
You know that shoulder that he played through that you said he should have sat down?
I agree. Maybe he
You get the
says,
fret?
okay. You're right. You got me.
Your confidence, everything,
Yep,
right?
everything. Now, maybe Jerry's sitting back saying he played without a deal last year and he played extraordinarily well.
Okay.
Maybe he thinks that drives this young man. So maybe you'd have to give him the exclusive tag so nobody could bid for him.
Yeah, you have to take your two
Okay.
first rounders to get up off it.
All right. So the exclusive, I'm not sure exactly where it's going to fall, but it's 30 plus. So it's fine. I mean,
Right.
the money is very good.
Right.
It's equitable kind of money.
Right.
It's fair value
But
money.
all that is cap dollars. So it's not like you give him let's say you give him 6 years at $188 million with $100 million fully guaranteed, and you prorate that over the 6 years. Whatever it is, $32, $34 million, your cap for Dak Prescott that year is $34 million, as opposed to being able to spread it out and say the first year be 17
No,
or
it's just
something
a
like
one-shot deal.
Exactly.
It's that year.
Yes.
Okay, you know how much I love Dak Prescott.
Yes.
In Miami all week, I fought for him, and we had a lot of number 4 jerseys show up at our
We did.
remotes,
We did.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I still believe this is going to get done, and they still have a few weeks to play with here
Right.
because it doesn't open up until February 25th that you can put the tag. And it closes on March the 10th, so that's going to be your window. Feb 25, March 10.
You only got 20. I mean, it's a leap year, but you ain't leaping 6 days in February, so you only get one extra day, Jenny.
Okay. So the first report was from ESPN's Adam Schefter, and he did make it very clear that both sides still believe there's a deal to be done, a deal to be found somewhere in the middle.
Right.
There's a compromise out there.
Correct.
And that both sides still feel like somehow it should get done.
Right.
I don't know the numbers. You don't know the exact numbers. No. And unfortunately, if you could put them on the table for us to dissect, we'd say, oh, well, that's absurd. Or, come on, Jerry. You know, one way, if you could just see what the dollars
Let me ask you a question then. Since you say, Dak Prescott had a better year. When my homeboy go into Clark Hunt's office, you think Clark Hunt's going to be penny pinching him? You think you're going to say, give me a chief deal, a hometown deal? Or you say, my homeboy, what you want?
Well, obviously, they just won their first Super Bowl in 50 years.
But if you said, hold on, you don't base it on that. You base it on the guy. You said you believe the guy, that guy right there.
I believe he can win multiple Super Bowls, plural with an S on it.
If you believe that man should be worth about $38, $39 million.
Okay, what if that man's agent is saying, we want $50 million? I'm just throwing a number out there. But it's possible he's saying, we want $50 million. We want to reset the market. Because you could argue the cap's going to go up. And the money is there to be spent.
And guess what, Skip? They're thinking about adding an extra game. They're thinking about adding an extra player.
Vote on it.
Yes. So you know the money's going to go up. Because guess what? Roger Goodell going to come and talk to Eric Shanks. And he's going to go talk to Sean McManus at CBS. Hey, bro, we got another game. So I'm going to need 300 more million out you. And so the players, Dak like, wait, I need to get me a cut of that.
By the way, I saw Roger yesterday. He dropped by our show.
He did.
We appreciate that. I was honored.
He came
by to watch our show live.
So I don't know who's over NBC and ESPN, but you know they get that extra game, Skip. More money is going to flow. So there's only one guy that can ask for 40. There's only one guy currently playing that should be able to go ask for whatever he wants, and they don't bat an eye. And his name is Patrick.
Okay, I'm going to give you that. But Dak had a terrific year, and there's some compromise place in the middle of this that I think they're going to find, but they need not an artificial deadline. They need a real hard cap deadline here. I mean, it's coming on March the 10th.
We'll give him a little money, Skip. Because Jerry's using my argument. Jerry's like, hold on, Dak. You do realize you were 0-8 when you fell behind by double digits. My homeboy was 5-0.
Just has the potential to be messy.
Jerry Jones said that, you had a potential to not live up to this obligation I'm about to put down on you.
You know what? I think Jerry Jones has made a tape of everything that's come out of your mouth during, like the days, the Mondays after the game.
And Dak got a tape of you.
You know?
My guy's a warrior. My guy battled.
Right. And Jerry's got Shannon saying, F. I give him an F. And then another week, F.
You might be right.
F. And F. And Jerry's saying, that guy's in the Hall of Fame.
But Skip, when the rubber meets the road, I'm riding with Todd, France, and Dak. I'm in the car with them.
You are?
Yep.
Yeah, because you want my cap ripped.
No mercy.
The Chiefs are champions for the first time in 50 years, thanks to an incredible fourth quarter comeback by Patrick Mahomes and company to beat the 49ers 31-20. Up by 10 points late, Kyle Shanahan's Niners watched Mahomes throw 2 TDs in the fourth, and KC became the first team to win after trailing by double digits 3 times in the same postseason. I'm now joined by Super Bowl champ and Fox College football analyst Reggie Bush. Good to have you this morning.
I'm good. That was Super Bowl for everybody.
What a game.
Great and crazy.
Better than Kyle Shanahan's was.
Yeah, we had a great time in Miami.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan may be having a tough morning. When you think of that game and Kyle Shanahan, did he blow another Super Bowl?
I think he did. I think this is 100% on Kyle Shanahan because we praise him when the team plays well. We praised him last year when Jimmy G went down and all the quarterbacks came in and played well. We praised him when they beat the brakes off the Green Bay Packers this year twice to get to this point. And so he must hold this L because this is on him. And, I mean, you up 2 scores in the fourth quarter. And you get an interception.
And you got the ball.
And you find a way to lose the game. You know what I mean? So I believe that football can be very stressful already. Just in itself, it's a very stressful, can be a very difficult game. But there are few times where you will find yourself on the biggest stage in the most high-pressured situation, and the game plan will never be more simple. Run the football to win the game. They average 6.4 yards in the game running the ball, right? So that to me, that's saying a lot, right? The Chiefs were not doing a great job of stopping the run and slowing down this run. And Shanahan knows better because this is the DNA of the 49ers, right? It's run, play action, and defense. And I would even go a step further and say this is the culture and DNA that he was raised in.
It was.
Because all those teams I watched when you guys were playing with the Denver Broncos, the offensive alignment, it was zone left, zone right. They were cut blocking all the D linemen. TD was putting his foot in the ground and getting up the field.
Yep.
That's the DNA of this football team, and I believe that he outthought himself. Sorry.
I like
outthought. I wasn't sure if that was a word. But I believe that he outthought himself in that fourth quarter because that's really what it came down to. To me, that's where the game was lost. Because they lost steam. And again, when you get a turnover in the fourth quarter, and the probability of winning has to be 99%. And somehow they found a way to lose this game. So I put this one on Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, he has to take accountability on this one, Skip. You're up 20-0. You get an interception in the 20 to 10.
Yeah.
You get an interception to start the fourth quarter, and your next two drives, 5 of the plays are pass plays. That's not who you are. Yeah. Skip, we went through this. Remember the second half? They were up 28-3 over the Patriots, and the team that's down by 25 runs the football the same amount of time as the team that's up by 25. Where do they do that at? In a situation like this, Skip, I'm not saying you're not trying to run out the clock. It's what you do best.
Yeah, exactly.
If I can see, Skip, if you're a throwing team, and maybe like you said, okay, you want to give Kyle because Matt Ryan had won the MVP. You had Julio, Taylor Gabriel. Yeah. You were throwing the ball all over the yard. Okay, I get that.
That's different.
I do get that. And I told you, I defended him. I know it was awful, 28-3,
right.
But still, he had just been named the night before the MVP of the league.
And you can say, well, running the football is really not what we do. That's really not who we are. But in this situation, this is who you are. This is what you are. And now you go, all of a sudden, you 5 of the 8 plays, you throw the ball? Yeah. What? You will never. It's hard to get an opportunity, Skip, to get, like Reggie said, you get to the Super Bowl, it's very hard. You got to navigate some landmines. Because think about the Chiefs, they had to deal with the injury to Mahomes. So there ain't no assurances that you're going to get there. You get there. Man, if we can just get a lead, we get to the fourth quarter. You get to the fourth quarter. You're the second best running team in football. Yep. You're up by 2 scores. And you say, you know what we're going to do now? We're going to show y'all why we're Jimmy G. Remember how we've been defending him all year long? Yeah. We're going to show you why we're defending him. Now, granted, I'm a firm, look, Patrick Mahomes had to be great in the fourth quarter, and he was once that interception took place. But the mark of any great team, whether you're offensively or defensively based, can you get done what you need to get done? And the 49ers, and we gave them credit all year long, Skip, about that pass rush, but when they needed to get off the field on third down, they couldn't. When they needed to get a stop, they couldn't. Patrick Mahomes, okay, Shannon Sharpe said, you're historically great already. He says, okay, let me show you. Boom, 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 game, set, match. But Kyle got to wear this hat. He got to wear. He could wear a lot of hats. Skip. We like Reggie said, we gave a lot of credit from 4-12 to all of a sudden in the Super Bowl. You see what happened? The 49ers were going nowhere. He and John Lynch turned this around. Okay, you turned it around. I'm gonna give you credit for turning it around, but I'm gonna give this blame to you for taking this L.
So you watched Kyle Shanahan grow up.
I did,
right?
Since he was 10.
10 years old.
Yeah.
And I don't know him. You know him some. You know his father a lot.
I do.
Seems like a really good guy, Kyle Shanahan. He's great with the media. Great last week. He seems always forthcoming and open and accessible. But unfortunately, this is the biggest game on earth, so to speak. This is the Super Bowl, and you got to play in one, and you got to play in 3 in North America. I got it. And you're lucky if you ever get to 1. Kyle has gotten to 2, and his legacy now is he has blown 2 insurmountable Super Bowl leads.
Well, we thought they were insurmountable.
Well, they sure look like what, right?
Considering the way they were playing until they got the lead.
So I fought for Kyle when we did this discussion 2 weeks ago about the Atlanta loss, 28-3 up, because you dance with who brung you. You dance with Matt.
Right.
He's the MVP. You got Julio and Sanu and Taylor. You got all these weapons, and that's who you are. And if Matt Ryan had not taken a dumb sack, because that's dumb.
Yes, he knows better.
And then they had an unfortunate holding call that knocked them out of field goal range and forced them to punt the ball back to Brady, and that's when the ceiling fell in.
Right.
Yep.
But the point was, that's not so bad. I'm not going to condemn you for that one, but I am condemning you for last night because you had run for 109 yards through 3 quarters.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes was unraveling right before your very eyes. And I know how much you love him, but that was god-awful what was happening.
That was one of his worst games.
Yeah, he had, for 3 quarters, he looked very average, very pedestrian.
Well, then he went abysmal in the 3rd quarter. Mid-3rd, he throws the first interception because they're struggling. They're playing a really good defense with a hellacious pass rush. And he's having to look through it and fight through it because you got 2 6'8" guys coming. And you got Nick Bosa coming. You got people coming. D Ford's flying. And it's starting to get to him psychologically, and he's starting to try to force the issue, and you can't force it. So he forces the first throw mid-3rd quarter, and Fred Warner cuts underneath and picks it off, and it was just a bad idea.
Bad throw, yes.
It was just a bad throw. And then early in the 4th quarter, I'm pretty sure he tries a no-look pass to Tyreek, and he throws it behind him, and he tips it up into an interception. And that's when I thought,
I thought the game was over.
That's it, man.
Yeah, I thought that was it.
Ball game, right?
Ball game.
So all of a sudden, you're 1st and 10 at your 20, and if we could hear the great Troy Aikman on Fox, because he spoke right to my heart.
He said it. He called it.
We got, there's the no look behind Todd.
Hey, we all know what's happening right now. Kyle Shanahan is going to run this ball right down their throat if they let him.
Garoppolo keeps, pass is caught on a sliding grab by Kittle.
Yeah.
Right on schedule.
So even he is saying, run the football.
Run the football. And I'm thinking game over, and that throw was a little low, and Kittle had to go scoop it up.
Okay.
And here we went again with another throw, and then another throw. And Mostert touches the ball 4 times in the 4th quarter, and Deebo Samuel, who's turned into a monster of a runner.
Beast. Right.
A beast. He's the new beast mode of receivers. Am I right?
Yeah, he is.
My goodness. And you got to get the football in his hands in the 4th quarter. He doesn't touch the ball in the 4th quarter. So all of a sudden, you have decided, right on cue with Troy's commentary, oh, you're going to put the ball in Jimmy G's hand, Jimmy Interception's hand? What happened in the first half? It was a close game only because Jimmy threw a dying quail of an interception. Right?
Yeah.
What was that? And Jimmy G had been off all night. Every throw he'd made except one to Kittle that was offensive pass interference. That was a sweet throw.
Right.
Every other throw was a little over here, a little over there. As Shannon and I talked about, he's pressing. It's the Super Bowl. He's getting a little too fine. He's trying to guide it in. And the ball's starting to flutter and duck on him a little bit. And now you've got it 1st and 10 at your 20, and you can run the clock because the 49ers, I mean, the Chiefs have been very good at controlling the clock, shockingly to me, because they had ball control most of the game. Well, now it's your turn. You had 285 rushing yards against the Packers, and Jimmy G threw it 2 times in the second half. Did it not work?
Yes. Yeah. What drove you crazy, Skip? You said the Tennessee Titans got a lead. And then all of a sudden, you want to see if Ryan Tannehill can go head-to-head with Patrick Mahomes. Okay, you got to lead 20-10. And now you want to see if Jimmy G can go head-to-head with Mahomes, boy?
Okay.
Really?
Really?
Skip, look here. If you're going to say I got conservative, I can come back and tell you, say, this is our offense. This is what we do. We run the football from a lot of different formations, a lot of different sets, but we run the football. Now, I'm looking at the stats right here, and Mahomes throwing the ball 13 more times than they ran it. Nobody's shocked by that.
No.
But to look at this and to say Jimmy G threw the ball 9 more times than they ran it?
He threw it 31 times.
Like, come on.
What are you doing?
No, that's not who you are.
So, my man, yesterday we had a show on Fox at 11 Eastern, and I am convinced, because he picked Jimmy G to be the MVP last night, I'm convinced that Kyle Shanahan was watching in his hotel room and said, you know what? That's a good idea. I like it. Watch this. Because that would polish your genius if you could turn Jimmy G into the MVP, right?
Deebo Samuel was going to be the MVP.
I know.
If they could have kept this going, because Deebo was playing unbelievable.
Yeah.
He really was.
He showed up.
The jet sweeps, they get to swinging the ball to him, but then all of a sudden, added a little something to the recipe, the dish that didn't need to be there, and now all of a sudden you got to throw the whole dish out.
This one's gonna hurt 49er fans.
Can you imagine,
Coach Shanahan?
You get to the Super, okay, we lose one, like, okay, we lost it like this. Can you? I guarantee you that would be what Kyle did would be the equivalent if the Seahawks got back to the Super Bowl again, and on the 1 yard line they threw another pass.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it that way.
You like, man, you don't get up out of here.
Wow. Patrick Mahomes had thrown 2 picks and no TDs heading into the fourth, but with the Chiefs trailing by 10 and just over 8 minutes left, Mahomes engineered 3 scoring drives and KC scored 21 consecutive points. Mahomes, at 24 years, 138 days old, became the youngest player to win both an MVP and a Super Bowl title, and he was the youngest QB to be named Super Bowl MVP. So, Reggie, did Mahomes deserve the MVP?
I think he did, because, for one, without Patrick Mahomes, they don't win that football game.
Sure.
The only other person I would even consider is probably Damian Williams, because I think he played lights out. Every time he touched the football, he was a factor. Even catching the ball to the backfield, he made a couple moves in that game where I was like, that kind of reminded me of myself, the way he was just, the way he was putting his foot in the ground and making guys miss, falling all over the ground, especially on the sideline.
Okay.
I was impressed with Damian Williams, and I thought he did great, but Patrick Mahomes was a true champion in this game. We knew at some point in time it was going to come down to Jimmy G versus Patrick Mahomes. We didn't know at what point in the game it was going to happen, and it ended up happening in the fourth quarter on the biggest stage. One guy is up on a 2-score lead, on a comfortable lead. Another guy just threw an interception in the fourth quarter and is staring defeat in the face. And that is the sign of a true champion. Anytime you can will your team back to win a football game. And then as I'm watching the game, too, I came across a stat that 4 times they had come back from double-digit deficits. Wow. 2 of those were in the playoffs. And so as I read that stat, I think it was before the fourth quarter, and they were up 2 scores, I said, oh, okay, let's see what's about to happen here, because if they do end up winning this football game, this is going to be an amazing run, an amazing comeback, led by a great quarterback. So I do think Patrick Mahomes deserved to win that MVP in that game.
Reggie, I don't know if you saw this stat, but I know a quarterback that had been 0 for 7 or maybe 0 for 8 when trailing by double digits. But that ain't none of my business.
He don't play for the team with a star on it.
I
don't know who you're talking about. I don't know. I'm lost.
There's a guy.
You make these cryptic references. You're the Tom Brady of Undisputed.
Well, there's a guy that wants a contract that he's probably going to get franchised.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because clearly you weren't talking about Tom Brady.
No. Skip, look. In the words of Tim Tebow, you remember, Skip, that Thursday night game with the Jets? They were playing the Jets. Tim Tebow says, nobody touches this ball but me. Nobody gets the MVP but my homeboy. Damian Williams played unbelievable, but he didn't run them back into the game. You do realize that, right, Skip? He didn't run them back into the game. My homeboys had to be great. Reminds me, I know another guy that won the Super Bowl MVP after throwing an interception late in the ball game, Jenny, and then came on and had one of the historically great fourth quarters. You remember that, Skip? Against the Legion of Boom?
Name him.
Name him. Nope, I don't do that.
Wait, we're talking, excuse me, I got to talk to the camera. We're talking about Tom Brady, who threw for 124 yards in the fourth quarter against the Legion of Boom. 2 touchdowns, and they won it with another clutch late drive. Thank you. Next question.
Okay, that's what he did. And what did my homeboys do? Against the San Francisco 49ers, the number 2 defense in football. Patrick Mahomes went and got him 21 straight. And you talk about he don't deserve the MVP after that performance?
I haven't spoken yet.
Look, everybody, for the most part, a lot of people thought this was over. After he threw that interception, Skip, they're already down 2 scores with the 49ers, the way they're running the football. And, Reggie, you said we knew this was going to come down to Jimmy Garoppolo versus Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, if Kansas City makes it come down to that, I'm not going to do it on my own.
Right.
I'm definitely not going to take the ball out of those running backs' hands, Debo's hand, and hand it to Jimmy G and say, Jimmy, I want you to go head-to-head with Pat Mahomes. There are very few quarterbacks, Skip, that can go toe-to-toe with this young man. Jimmy G definitely isn't one of those, but there's no other person that could have got that MVP other than my homeboy.
I am so disappointed in my man Reggie Bush this morning because he did not defend the faith of the running back.
I love the running backs, but
give him credit.
This is my thing. Hold on, I want to cut you off. But because Without Damian Williams, I still think they can win that game.
Yes.
Without Patrick Mahomes, they cannot win that football game.
Fair.
I believe Damian Williams got robbed of an MVP that he deserved because he starred in the shadows of Mahomes boy. Patrick Mahomes Jordan, as I call him, because he's already the Michael Jordan of this NFL.
As a matter of fact, he had a Jordan 3 years into the league. Now,
yeah. Damian Williams had more wire-to-wire impact in this game, in which I remind you, somehow Kansas City controlled the clock in this game.
Yeah.
So they kept, but this is bizarre, but they actually kept the Niners running game off the field. If you can get that through your head.
Yeah.
It was 33-27 in clock minutes in favor of Damian Williams' team.
Damian Williams,
Damian Williams did more with less than Patrick Mahomes did, because I got to tell you, by Patrick Mahomes' legendary standards, he still had a bad night.
He did?
My favorite stat, QBR. He had a grand total of 62 on a scale of 0 to 100, Mr. Sharpe. That was the lowest QBR of any quarterback who's ever won the Super Bowl MVP. So it was I'll give you average at best night for an MVP? Really?
How many of those quarterbacks that won the MVP that were down by 10 points in the fourth quarter?
Well, let's see about what Damian Williams did. Let's see what happened, because he ran 7 times for first downs. This is hard to do, because I can show you a bunch of Reggie Bush games where he didn't get to run 7 times for first downs. And I got a whole list of them, but it's too long to go through, because there are 2 of them that are 4th and somethings, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, where he got the call and he got the first down.
Yeah, I forgot about those 4th and 1s.
Okay, he did 2 of them.
You're right.
2 of them.
You're right.
Twice he caught swing passes that I thought were going nowhere fast. And to your point, he went Reggie Bush on a couple of 3 defenders over on the perimeter. And before I knew it, he's loose for another first down. So there are 2 more first downs. And then we get to the 2 game-deciding plays. And one is 3rd and goal from the 5, and he takes a little swing pass, and he makes the play of the night on the pylon. And it's a great athletic burst play. Here it is. And he somehow gets the ball across the plane.
Reggie knows this. When you catching the swing pass, it's the quarterback. You see where he put that ball? He put it on his right so he can just turn and go up the field.
It's a nice throw. I will give you that.
And did you see my homeboy lay out for that first down? Okay. Or that scramble skip like Superman?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Bosa on his heels. With Bosa on his heels.
Yeah.
So wait, your MVP, your runaway, no doubt MVP, threw 2 picks in the game, and he lost 2. Well, he fumbled twice, but he didn't lose them.
Yeah.
But he was very lucky not to lose either one of them.
Very lucky to lose.
One of them squirts, the one down on the goal line squirts backward. It could have gone right over his shoulder, and
But think about what that was, Skip. Wasn't that 3rd and 14, 3rd and 13, in which he got 12 yards on the scramble?
I'll give you that. But the other one, Bosa gets him, and it was right before the first interception. But Bosa knocks the ball loose, and it just happened to bobble right back up to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And then on the next play, he throws an interception. And then on the second interception, he tries, I'm pretty sure, a no-look pass. He does not really look at Tyreek. He's looking to his right, and he throws it across body to his left, and he misses Tyreek by a yard behind him, and he pops it up into an interception. I'm just saying, this is your MVP, your no doubt MVP.
Right.
And then who closed the deal? Final nail in the coffin. Listen, Damian Williams, you said you compared it to the John Riggins run, but that was a burst now.
Yeah, that run.
Oh, he can run. That's Skip. Dude ran 4-4. He ran 4-4 coming out of college.
No, I know.
If I'm a running back, I want to play in the Kansas City Chiefs offense, because you're never going to see more than 5, maybe 6 guys in the box.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know, he does have some Reggie in him. He's got some.
But Skip,
And again, I watched him for 2 years at the University of Oklahoma. Unfortunately, mid-second year, he got kicked off the team, which is why he did not get drafted. Dolphins signed him as an undrafted free agent. And then, boom, he winds up with Andy Reid, who's taken in all the problem players over the years, because Andy says, I'm Father Flanagan. I will save their soul.
Yeah, he got a home for wayward football players.
Wayward football players. And this is another one.
Hey, let me ask you, but if somebody would have told you, says, okay, the 49ers defense, they're going to sack Mahomes 4 times. They're going to pick him off twice. Oh, they winning that game going away.
Okay.
That's what he was able to overcome. That's why you got to give it to him, Skip.
So think about this. Damian Williams, on 11 of his 21 touches, they went for first downs or touchdowns. Trust me, that's hard to do.
It is.
It's a lot of work in one night. But it gets overshadowed by Mahomes boy.
Yeah.
And I'm still saying the 3rd and 15 throw to Tyreek, he just basically he slung a duck because he got blasted by DeForest Buckner, who's 6 feet 7 inches tall, and he just sort of whipped it up in the air. And I told Shannon earlier, I'm watching with my wife. I turned to Ernestine. As soon as it left his hand, I said, "That's his third pick." Yeah. And it just sort of floats down, and Tyreek waved his hand for a fair catch, and he caught it. He turned around backwards and caught it.
I mean,
this is your MVP that you're telling me.
Yeah, he deserved that.
Okay, he made one really big-time throw to Sammy Watkins.
He made a bunch of them. Got Tyreek.
No.
On the move, Skip, you saw the one he threw, Travis Kelce. Oh, man, Skip. Dude, special. He's special. If you got to deal, the only thing that I hate, he's in the Broncos division for the next decade.
Yeah, he's so special. You picked the 49ers.
That ain't got to do.
He's so special. You said Jimmy G was going to be the MVP. So special.
As I posted on my IG, he's still my Mahomes boy.
Oh, okay.
All that true.
So you feel strongly both ways.
Yep.
Okay.
He's the best quarterback in football.
Okay.
I think today you could agree with me, Skip. It's okay to agree. Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. Say it with me.
Until Tom Brady becomes the 49ers quarterback next year.
What?
Then we'll have a whole different conversation.
A whole different discussion.
Tom Brady can play for the 49ers, the Patriots. He can combine the teams. He ain't better than Tom. He ain't gonna ever be better than Pat Mahomes moving forward. It's over for him.
Should have beaten him 3 times.
Big moments, just better than Jimmy G. Reggie, so good to have you today to discuss. No mercy. And the Chiefs are champions for the first time in 50 years, thanks to an incredible fourth-quarter comeback by Patrick Mahomes and company to beat the 49ers 31-20. Mahomes threw 2 TDs in the fourth, and KC became the first team to win after trailing by double digits 3 times in the same postseason. Former Chiefs DB Orlando Scandrick joining us now. Good to have you with us. Orlando, in your opinion, what was the biggest reason the Chiefs won?
Resilience. I was just waiting for them to turn it on. You know, I had some sizable bets on the Chiefs.
Ooh, did you?
Sizable. I mean, it was just, you just knew it was a matter of time. That team is resilient. That team is put together, like, from top to bottom. When I say top to bottom, even when you look at the way that their franchise is structured, from the general manager to their head coach to the quarterback to the last player on their roster, they all love each other. I think they love football, and you know, I had a great time playing there last year, and it was great to see those guys win a Super Bowl.
So I got to know, how nervous were you after the second interception and San Francisco gets the ball back? How nervous were you about your money?
Oh man, I don't think I was nervous then. I think one of the nervous points for me was when he gets stripped and he recovers the fumble and makes it into that long third down. But you knew it was only a matter of time. You know, Pat wasn't going to be held down, and that was the same thing last year in the AFC Championship game. We go down 14-0, and then the second half, you know, it was just they can't stop us, and they're holding on. And you know, obviously we couldn't come up with enough stops on defense to get to the Super Bowl. But to see them go in the offseason and really address their needs to make their team better and win a Super Bowl is just, you know, a thing of beauty.
So how much different did that defense look last night to you to the one that you played?
Way different. Schematically, it looked different.
How?
Schematically?
Yeah.
I mean, they do a lot of different things there.
They went from 43 to a 30. They went from a 34 to a 43.
Oh, absolutely. And then they just show a bunch of different fronts. They got some exotic looks on third downs. Honey Badger has been the world of difference. He's a phenomenal player. You know, I can't speak highly enough about him. And you know, those Charvarius, Lil Mooney, he grew up really, really quick. And then, you know, Breland, he really helped them. And you know, getting Thornhill and moving Kendall Fuller,
and they lost
safety.
Thornhill.
Yeah. Fuller was big last night. But for the defense, now you see why they gave up those first rounders to get Frank Clark. Because when you get guys, Skip, and you pay them a ton of money, you're like, okay, I need to see. People want to see, well, why you had D Ford.
Yeah.
So D Ford and Frank Clark. Now you see, he was relentless. He talked, you know, like, I didn't agree with what he said about D Ford. Yeah, it was inexcusable that he lined up offside. But, you know, Frank Clark
lined up offside to start the game, right?
right on cue.
Yeah.
That was the difference in the ball game. But when you look at Patrick Mahomes, you know, people are like, man, you let it play out. I've seen enough. I've played football long enough. I've critiqued games long enough. This dude is the real deal. There's not a throw that he can't make. And Skip, a lot of guys can get outside the pocket and can throw the ball, but they got to pull up to do it. There have been very few guys that can wrong foot throws outside of the pocket, can do that for accuracy and for distance, because he can wrong foot it and throw it 50 yards over your head. He can wrong foot it and be accurate, throw it accurate on sidelines, throw it back across his body. You see so how many times he hit Sammy Watkins throwing back across his body, hit Kelsey throwing back across his body. His ability and what he's shown you in the playoffs, oh, man, he ain't going to go nowhere. Guess what? 50 yards rushing against the Texans, 50 yards rushing against the Titans. Had 44, had 20, ended up with 29, but he had 15 in kneel downs. He's the real, that's the main reason. There's not a whole lot of guys, Skip, that could have done what he did last night, being down to that team and the adversity that they faced, 3rd and 15. There's not a whole lot of people overcoming 3rd and 15 in the Super Bowl, especially being down by 10. And once they got that, you're like, it's just meant to be. Skip, I mean, you're not supposed to get 3rd and 15.
When you got Pat, you are. I think that it's that baseball background is what allows him to. What's more impressive is he can just release the ball from so many different angles, and he's comfortable. And I remember sitting watching the game last night, and at the beginning, his feet, he doesn't have great footwork. Nobody says he's a technician.
Right.
He just wasn't comfortable, and they were around him, and I think he was kind of feeling things. But that 3rd and 15 is all about the flow of the game, and he knew he was going to get hit, and just saying that Tyreek's wide open, I'm going to get hit, so may as well make this throw.
So I believe that my man Orlando Scandrick should send 10% of his winnings to Kyle Shanahan today, because he is the biggest reason you won your bet last night.
I disagree.
Oh, stop it.
I mean, Pat,
this is all time. I gave Kyle a break for what happened against New England.
But Pat makes that throw to Tyreek 9 times out of 10.
Right.
He doesn't throw it.
We're going to talk in depth about that in just a minute, so I'm going to leave that lay.
No, I'm talking about the one that he missed. The one that he misses on 3rd down that he throws a little. 9 times out of 10, he makes that throw.
But the
He's talking about the interception.
Yeah, he makes that
I
throw.
got it.
And they get points right there. I don't know about Kyle Shanahan's clock management.
He threw it a yard behind Tyreek. He was trying to pull off a no-look. He's looking right, throwing it this way.
9 times out of 10, he makes it.
Well, that was the one time out of 10 that he didn't.
Correct.
He threw it so far behind him, he tips it up into an interception, and you were cooked at that point.
Never.
And you thought you're on TV now saying, I knew I had this, but you didn't know you had this.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't
because the 49ers had been running the ball down the throats of that new look defense.
Have you ever seen anybody win a game in 3 quarters?
No, I haven't, but I saw the San Francisco 49ers run for 109 in 3 quarters, and I saw Deebo Samuel go flat out Deebo on your defense, your new look defense, because they had no answer.
Yeah, they did run
Deebo.
for 109, but a lot of those plays they weren't just running plays, they were misdirection.
Well, that's how they do it.
Yeah.
That's their MO. It's a lot of bells and whistles. It's smoke and mirrors. It's motion and misdirection. It's sis boom ba.
Gimmick.
Yeah. Okay, but it works.
No, it didn't.
Honey Badger said after the game, really, it's a real simple offense. You just have to ignore all the stuff that's happening, and then it happens, right? Then you wait till the snap.
It works until it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it worked for 3 quarters. And it didn't work because you didn't try to make it work when you got the ball back 1st and 10 at the 20. So the essence of this game was that Kyle Shanahan decided that Jimmy G could outplay Patrick Mahomes in the 4th quarter. That's what happened.
Wait. Are we talking about the last drive?
We're talking about they had the ball twice in a row. They got it twice in a row. They got it off the interception, and then they got it after
and then
the 2017
I think they went play action
touchdown.
on 1st down. He missed. They ran it on 2nd down.
This is the second time they had
They ran
the
it
ball.
on 2nd down.
Well, they got Mostert for 5, then they got
Are we talking
Kittle.
about the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, the first time they had the ball, they went Mostert for 6.
6.
And then we've used it twice already, but Troy Aikman said they're going to run the ball right down their throats if they let him. And right on schedule, he throws it to Kittle. He throws it low, and Kittle made a nice scoop off the carpet.
Okay. Good
and
call.
then, here we go, Garoppolo, punt. And then...
when you pay somebody like you pay Garoppolo, at some point you got to expect him to do his job too, right?
Sure.
Right, Shannon?
Yeah, but I'm saying at that point in time, there'll be a time he's done his job. Against New Orleans, when you're down 20-7, he did his job. When you needed 2 3rd and 16s against the Rams, he did his job. Against Arizona. But you get that a lot, Skip, and that's the question that your Cowboys are going to run into. Why are you going to pay Dak $38 million or $38 million, and then you still got a $15 million running back? Do you really need both of those? Because if you got a $15 million back, you should be able to get away with a $20 million quarterback.
Okay.
So
I'm not being 20/20 hindsight hypocrite here. I do not trust Jimmy G, and I never have. He is Jimmy interception to me. He's going to throw you maybe 3 a game. You got to catch him if he throws them to you. He'd thrown one that was just an eyesore of an interception in the first half. I'm not even sure who he was throwing it to. He threw it to Breland.
Yes.
Right? And that's the only reason that was a close game at halftime, and you were lucky there. And then Kyle Shanahan, for some reason, does not use his timeouts at the end of the half, and then you get a call that should have been made.
I think that he don't use his timeouts because they was going on to 3rd and 10. Andy shouldn't have called a timeout right there if you really want to talk about it, and it wouldn't even have been close. They would have just went into halftime. Like
okay,
both
but
teams
you got a big break on the offensive push by Kittle because
That's
ball
illegal.
Okay, it is illegal, but that ball he didn't need to do it. He already had the advantage, and that was the one good throw Garoppolo made the whole night. And if he catches it, you're in more trouble because that's
sound like we're talking like a whole lot of ifs.
Yeah.
A whole lot of ifs.
You're doing a whole lot of.
It was if
I knew I had it all along.
Drinking that little Douce, huh?
Yeah. But you got to give my homeboy some credit. I mean, he's the real deal. I've been trying to tell you this for 2 years.
Kyle Shanahan gave it to Mostert 4 times in the fourth quarter, and no Debo. You didn't have to deal with Debo 1 time in the fourth quarter. He is the new beast mode of receivers. He is a handful. You would not have wanted to tackle Debo.
Oh, my God.
Huh? Am I right?
Oh, my God.
Yep.
He feeling good. He got a little money. He got a little money in the pocket.
He's a good player. You know, he's
feeling good.
Player. But I mean, I don't think that he reminds me of a Percy Harvin type player. Now, for you to just crown him.
Percy Harvin?
You don't
Percy
remember
Harvin's
Percy
about
Harvin?
half his size.
No
I know
way.
Percy
Are
Harvin.
you kidding me? Not half his size.
I know Percy Harvin.
You remember what Percy Harvin did in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I remember what he did to my Oklahoma Sooners in the national championship game.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he is. I mean, he's a jack. I mean, you throw it to him. I mean, he's not. He's not the most technically sound route runner.
Like 230 or I don't know.
I don't know if he's 230.
I'm thinking about 215.
215.
I don't know.
About 205.
Yeah.
Oh, but he runs like he's 250.
That's how Debo runs. Debo runs like beast mode.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at the truck people.
He's going to be a good player in this league for a long time. And I'm sorry that they didn't use him. Bank don't care about that.
You got your money. You at least send Kyle a bouquet.
I want to know how much now. Geez.
Bank don't care nothing about that.
You had a good night. You had a good night, and never doubted it.
No mercy.
49ers did a relatively good job of keeping Tyreek Hill in check through the first 3 quarters, but with the Chiefs down 2 scores in the fourth and facing a 3rd and 15, Patrick Mahomes found Hill for a wide-open 44-yard catch downfield, and just like that, the high-powered tandem brought the Chiefs right back to life. Orlando, on a scale of 1 to 10, how impressive was that play?
It was impressive because it was 3rd and 15, but that's a standard throw for Pat. So I'd say about 7. It's a standard throw. He makes that throw every day of the week. It's, a few yards outside the numbers, 40 yards deep. That's pitch and catch for his homeboy. He's my homeboy, too.
I gave it a 9, given the circumstances, because, we can make that throw in practice. We can make that throw in a regular season game. But this is the Super Bowl. You don't get that. It's 4th and 15 on your own 35. Skip, they ran this very similar play from a very similar formation. They just changed what Tyreek did. You know this. They put Tyreek Hill in the slot. He has so much speed, he can get to the far cross quicker than anybody in football. So this is what they're thinking. There's the play that they ran against New England, Skip, last year. Line him up in the slot, he goes far cross. They're thinking he's going to do the exact same thing again. And the safety, the whole safety bails. You see, he faces him up, he's gone. They run this play last night. If we can show the play they ran last night.
What's special about it is, though, they put him at number 3. So they're not just putting him at the slot. So
right.
When you put him at 3, now you're making that linebacker have some type of responsibility.
And watch what he does now. He's the same. Now watch what they're thinking he's going far across again. He hits the break, runs the 7 route. He's wide open. You got to respect that speed. That's why everybody says speed kills. Is that now we get the same formation, basically what we think is going to run the same play. He peels off, runs the 7 route, Skip. He's wide open. Under heavy duress. In the Super Bowl, 3rd and 15. That don't happen every day.
Okay, my turn. On the impressive scale, 1 to 10, I'm going to give this a 2.
Ah, man, you gotta stop, Skip. You gotta stop.
A 2, Skip.
This play is being almost as overrated as Mahomes' 27-yard touchdown run was, in which no Titan even tried to tackle him, except for Tremaine Brock Sr., who tried to grab his flag like they're playing flag football.
A 2?
Okay, so what I saw a completely different play here. I saw 3 deep coverage where each's got a third. Each DB's got a third across.
Right.
And Emmanuel Mosley is the left third, okay?
Right.
And for some reason, he's undrafted out of Tennessee in his second year. Do you know him?
I don't, but you just killing him right now.
Okay, well, because he deserved it. Because he blows this coverage.
But
because he takes Sammy Watkins on an in cut that you can't take. This is 3rd and 15. You cannot jump that because you got deep third.
Bad odds.
You are going to be the guy who's going to be where Tyreek is going. Tyreek's going to come right to you if you'll just play your deep third across.
Guy disappears, you keep sinking.
You just sink. You
I don't
sink.
think that he
It's
disappears
3rd
though,
and 15.
because you do know that in 3 deep coverage, at some point you got to match your guy. Now I'm not justifying what he did because he's utterly wrong.
Okay, he is utterly wrong. Thank
but-
you very much. So then DeForest Buckner is 6 feet 7 inches tall. He stunts and loops outside, and he gets loose, and he is in Mahomes' face. And I'm giving Mahomes a break on this one because you can't really step into this throw. You kind of cross-body this.
Yes.
But the truth was he slung a duck. And when it left his hands, I turned to my wife, Ernestine, and I said, that's a 3rd interception because I couldn't see where it was headed. I just knew he slung a duck.
Right.
And it's going to be like a punt. And Tyreek had to stop cold and turn around and come back and catch the punt. In fact, did you see him wave for the fair catch? He fair caught it. Did you see that?
He threw that thing 45 yards.
Okay, okay, it's flat-footed against its crossbody.
Yeah. It was more like, look at a flick of that wrist.
I will give you that, but you can't give it impressive because if he cuts it loose like you should have, it's a big 6 point.
But he can't.
It's like he could have walked in backwards.
Yeah, what you got in this cup right now?
Nothing. I got anger. I'm spitting anger into that cup.
But you also got to look at it, Skip. Look at what he had done up until that point. He had thrown 2 interceptions. He's down by 10 points.
This is the play of the game.
Yeah, so the degree of difficulty, like you like to use the degree of difficulty.
Okay. Do you know how much up for grabs that throw was?
It was, but you know what they say about pressure,
It's up
right?
for grabs. It's
You know
like
what
a
they say about pressure,
50-50 ball. 50-50. Anybody can catch that football.
But you see what one guy did under pressure? One guy performed under pressure, and you killing the DB.
You know what they say about pressure, right?
Yeah.
That thing either bust pipes or it build these things right here, these diamonds.
Yeah. Okay, all I saw a lot of luck on that throw. Because, hey, there are DBs everywhere back there, and if one of them's got a nose for the ball, if you have Honey Badger back there, Honey Badger's going to sniff that out and go snatch it.
But hold on. Do you remember the Super Bowl?
He dreaming.
Hold on.
He
Do you remember the Super Bowl that the Patriots came back against the Falcons, and he threw the ball up into triple coverage, and Edelman bobbled it, tipped it off his head, and caught it?
We're not talking about that.
But
we're talking about this play. I'm going to give it a 2, and I just backed up while I'm giving it a 2. And you said he does it every week. He does it every practice. But he throws up punts?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a punt.
Now, you said you see him throwing the ball. He's throwing the ball out of the stadium. That he's throwing no looks and doing all this stuff.
I got it.
So, yes.
I got it. It's big arm talent, but there's a lot of luck involved. That is high risk. You know it's high risk.
Open.
Huh?
Not when he wide open.
You practice, Skip. You practice. You practice.
The ball hung up so long, somebody's got to get there.
He was wide open.
Jimmy Ward's got the middle third, and he just can't get there.
Yeah, he better not get there because if Tyreek breaks across on that far cross and he's already committed to the 7, it's trouble.
Mm-hmm. Hit his head on the goalpost.
Yeah, well, he should have hit his head on the goalpost. And I about hit my head on my goalpost in my living room because I'm saying, what is that?
Well, you see how he faced up.
That's a pick.
Skip, you don't want that guy to face you up. The best thing you can do is hope that he catches the ball and you're close enough to get on him. Because if he faces you up,
it's over. I was a witness.
He gonna piece you up. If he faces you up, it's over. You're not tackling him.
I got it, but he didn't face anybody. He had to face Mahomes.
Yes, he did. He got Sherman early. You remember Sherman, the first catch of the game?
We're talking about this play.
Yeah.
I think that he got so much speed, though, that he makes that middle field safety thing. I got to get out of here.
Yes. He got to turn him. You got to Skip. The dude is legit. Hold on. The dude said he wants to try to make the Olympic team.
Wait, has the ball come down yet? I'm not sure. Is it still hanging up there somewhere?
Skip. The dude.
It just came down. He just caught it.
It's a league of his own.
Yes. Skip. He said he wants to try and make the Olympic team. That's not Jason Witten saying he wants to make the Olympic team. That's Tyreek Hill.
I know the speed, but the speed was not the factor on this play in the end.
Yes, it was.
He has to come back for the football.
I think it was a good throw.
Don't tell me it's a great throw.
It was off his back foot.
Yes.
It's not even off his back foot. It's just sideways.
Yes, actually, it was a great throw because we saw Jimmy Garoppolo have a guy wide open and overshoot him by 5. So what what good is that? If you, he should have got, no. Just make sure he catches the ball. Because in that situation, the most important thing is the catch, not the touchdown. We'll live to see another day. We get 4 more cracks at you.
Hey, he's just lucky Ed Reed wasn't back there.
Oh, my God.
Well, wait a second. Ed Reed's going to put that ball in his back pocket.
You talking about, Skip, you're talking about the greatest.
Seriously.
You're talking about the greatest free safety of all time.
I think Ed Reed got to open up and got to respect him running that deep cross, too.
No.
You have to.
I think
you gotta
Scandrick makes that play.
You got to respect
Orlando
the deep cross.
Scandrick could have made that play.
There's a reason.
You got to respect the deep cross.
Yes.
You have to. He gonna run. You seen what he been doing? He run that deep cross.
It's over.
For 60 yards.
Emmanuel Mosley's got to respect something.
You need to write on his Instagram or something. Direct message him, email him.
I know. He deserves. This is Super Bowl.
That dude Skip. He face you up. It's over. And they knew that. They put him in that slot. They know he normally runs that far across.
Yeah. Well, we know he can catch punts. Right? We do. He's a great punt returner. I'm surprised he didn't start running the wrong way. You know, he thinks he's returning a punt. He's going to run it. He's becoming wrong way Hill, right?
Boy, that speed, though. Orlando, so good to have you today. We appreciate your opinion, and I'm glad you won big.
Thank you.
Go do something fun today.
Yeah, break your boy off one of the more leaders. 1.5 leaders.
No mercy. And less than an hour after the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl in 50 years, both Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill said that the wait for another Super Bowl win wouldn't be nearly as long. And Kelce told reporters, quote, "The dynasty is just starting." Look, I know they're excited here, but Shannon, is he right?
Well, they have all the pieces. They have Kelce under contract. They have Tyreek under contract. We don't know what's going on with Sammy Watkins, Skip. I think he has a $21 million cap hit. I'm sure they would want him back, but at a much lower, reduced rate. But when you have that big piece, you know what I'm saying, Skip, that old big piece of chicken. Now, old granddaddy got that. Everybody could, you got the wing, you got the drumstick, maybe the short thigh. But the big breast, Popeye got that. You didn't bother that piece. That big piece of chicken in Kansas City is 15. And when you have him, you know what the floor is? The playoffs. That's the floor. The ceiling is you saw last night. Punctuation in Miami. Whatever the name of that was. Hard Rock Stadium. What's the name of that stadium?
Yeah,
right? Hard Rock. Roll the dice.
They got it done.
Pay the man, Skip. Yes, they have the pieces. And with him, you're always going to have a chance. But a lot of things is predicated on what, Skip? Injury. Because if you got hurt, you ain't going, there ain't no dynasty. It's like Tom Brady. The reason why Tom Brady, the Patriots were able to keep this thing going, with the exception of 1 year, Tom Brady is every Sunday, every Monday, Tom Brady is trotted out there on the field. And when you got Tom Brady, you got a chance. Same with my homeboy. As long as he stays healthy, they got a chance.
Really?
Yeah.
So, speaking of Hard Rock, you were between a rock and a hard place with your pick of this game. Because I'm going to remind everybody one more time.
You don't need to do that.
Today,
yes.
You picked the 49ers. You were so sold on my homeboy. You picked Jimmy G to be the MVP of last night's Super Bowl.
Sorry,
Way to
Shannon.
go.
You're not going to live
so
this down.
you can't claim it today. You can't gloat about it. You can claim it next year out of the box.
I can claim it. What about tomorrow?
No.
Tomorrow.
Sorry. Those fans are not going to forget.
They still love me.
So I'm going to give in to this today just because it's time to congratulate Andy Reid. It's time to congratulate Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek and Kelce and blah, 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 because they are loaded. And their defense was much improved. And it held up when it had to hold up last night.
Yep.
And I give you all that. And it appears they are positioned to become dynastic. It's hard to do.
It is.
Because all year long, there was this team in Baltimore that looked like a prohibitive favorite to me. And Lamar Jackson wasn't just the MVP, he was the unanimous MVP, and he should have been.
Correct.
And he played better last football season, this past regular season, than Patrick Mahomes played. And Baltimore was too good for its own good, and it was forced to take almost 3 weeks off before it had to play a dangerous
They weren't forced to. John Harbaugh.
Well,
did
okay.
that.
Well, but I'm saying, okay, you can go. We both said you got to play him a little bit.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
But he went rust over rest, right? Or
Yep.
rest over rust, I guess you'd say. But anyway, it's a bad situation to be put in because he said, I'm not going to risk it. And 3 weeks later, we had to risk it against the Titans because they were not right. They were not ready.
Right.
The Titans were ready to play that game.
Right.
And they ran it right down their throats, and you know the rest of the story. But Baltimore ain't going away.
Right.
They're going to be there.
Skip, the thing that's in their favor currently right now is what? Pat Mahomes on his rookie contract. Now, you know that balloon payment is coming due, Skip.
It's about to be.
The biggest thing is re-signing Chris Jones.
Yep.
They got to do something with him. I think all the other pieces, Honey Badger has a large cap number. They might restructure, add a year, and give him some of that money. But you got to get Chris Jones. Now, after next season, when that big balloon payment, a $200 million with $130 million fully guaranteed comes due, that changes things.
Okay, I got it. But just for perspective, that Kansas City team lost back-to-back home games this year. That Kansas City team got every break in the playoffs thanks to the Titans upsetting Baltimore and knocking New England out. And all of a sudden, they got to play 2 home games as the 2 seed.
They'd win New England, beat New England.
Well, I don't think they would, but that's just a whole other issue.
Yeah,
they went up there and barely won with 3 bad calls during the regular season, 23-16.
And my homeboy didn't play that great.
Okay.
You know,
he didn't play that great all year.
Stop it.
The truth, well, he didn't.
Stop saying that.
We never even talked about him as an MVP candidate.
Yep, he got hurt, and once he got hurt, you know, once you get hurt, you get out the running. Because we saw, walk it to him, he was the clear MVP front runner until he got hurt.
Okay, so that team I just watched fall behind 24-0 to a 10-6 Texans team, and then fall behind 17-7 to a 9-7 Titans team.
And fall behind by 10 points to what?
Okay.
Well, how good was the 49ers?
Dynasty, I guess so.
You never know.
Yeah,
Can we be happy for Andy Reid?
Yeah,
I guess
First
so.
season as an NFL coach, he finally got that win.
My homeboy.
And you can tell just how excited everyone was for him. That was a 7th seed.
No mercy.
Kyler Murray was named Offensive Rookie of the Year during Saturday's NFL Honors in Miami, ahead of Josh Jacobs, A.J. Brown, Miles Sanders. Kyler joined Cam Newton as the only QBs with 3,500-plus pass yards and 500-plus rush yards in the rookie seasons in NFL history. So, Shannon, did they get this right?
No, Josh Jacobs should have won it. 1,150 yards, 1,150 rush yards despite missing 3 games. He also had the 3rd highest rush yards per game behind Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. And the Raiders went from 4 wins to 7, and Cardinals went from 3 to 5 and a tie.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. It ain't better than what the Raiders did. So stop it.
So, Kyler Murray, I told you all along, was going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he did, and he should have.
No, he shouldn't have.
He started off with an extraordinary game against the Lions. You can say they weren't very good, but you're a rookie starting. You're thrown into the fire for the worst team in pro football, and you tied them at home.
And what's Detroit's record?
Yeah, well, they're a pro football team. It's hard.
But you said, but you gave them no credit when the Cowboys beat them. You gave Dak an A for beating a lowly,
A plus.
Yeah,
A plus.
yeah,
Jeff Driscoll.
Exactly.
Okay, but that was Matthew Stafford in the opening game. And then look what he did. He beat the Falcons 34-33. He went up to the Giants and beat them. He beat the Browns 38-24.
You have little or no respect for the Giants.
He won at the Seahawks 27-13. You have respect for Russell Wilson.
Yes.
Right? And then I look at 2 of those last 3 games. That was Browns, Seattle, and then at the Rams, he barely lost 31-24. He was playing extraordinary football with a bad football team. And then I look at the numbers he put up. How about his QBR? You know how much I love QBR. His QBR wound up 56, which is a little above average. He was better than Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Phillip Rivers, Jared Goff. That's the Offensive Rookie of the Year. How about catchable passes? I love that stat. 10th in the league. He had a Russell, Garoppolo, Deshaun, Baker, Mahomes, Breeze. I can keep going. Air distance, 11th in the league. Better than Mahomes, better than Watts, Deshaun, Lamar, Drew Brees. Okay. He put up really great numbers for a guy thrown into the fire with a bad offensive line.
You don't mind me? I'm looking over there.
What?
Winnable games. How many of those he got? Was that better than Deshaun? Better than Russell? Better than Mahomes? Oh, better than Lamar?
5 games with that team? It's incredible, and obviously, degree of difficulty. Quarterback's a lot harder to play for a rookie than running back.
You make it seem like Josh Jacobs went to the Chiefs or the Patriots. You do realize he went to a bad team.
They were 7-9.
They had the third pick in the draft.
They had a good quarterback. In fact, Derek Carr had his best year ever.
And they already talked about he had his best year ever, and the Raiders are being reported say they're going after Tom Brady.
Okay,
a guy that had his best year ever.
I told you during Hard Knocks that Gruden doesn't buy into Derek Carr.
Okay.
But again, it's the most translatable position in all of football from college to pro is running back.
Yeah.
You can just do it.
He had a great one.
Yeah.
He had a great season.
Yeah.
Should have been MVP.
Well, I told you so, and it happened. I want to congratulate Kyler Murray because that was hard to do.
You knew it
Yep.
all along.
My
I know you were all in
homeboy.
on Kyler.
Yep.
I had such a good week
Congratulations,
with you
homeboy.
guys in Miami. Oh,
Yep.
now you're all about
Yeah,
Rush
homeboy.
Homeboy, he didn't pick you.
Skip
Way
and
to
I are
go.
not going to forget Shannon.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.